Chapter 362. Exchanging for treasures in the Thunder Castle. At the very beginning, the leaders of the large organizations, like the Ninth Prince, would bring a few million Thunderstones, or even tens of millions of Thunderstones to exchange. This wasn't weird, however the later it got, the earlier the Thunderstones were exchanged, hence there were very few large exchanges in the later stages. Lord Wu, this is 9.02 million Thunderstones. Luo Feng flipped his hand and a space ring appeared in it. The fat white-bearded old man extended his hand and received it. After checking, he couldn't help but look up at Luo Feng. Little punk, you're really making me more and more surprised. I can see that you don't have much power in the Allied army. Along with the last exchange, you've already taken out over 10 million Thunderstones. Luck. Luo Feng smiled. There are some things that luck can't explain. The white-bearded old man smiled and didn't say much. After which, he flipped his hand and immediately various treasures floated within the ancient house. In an instant, all sorts of universe origin law energies emanated outwards. There were many level 5 genetic energy weapons and spirit weapons. These weapons had incredibly profound and complicated engravings on them, similar to the natural engravings on the golden horned beast. The thick origin law energies made Luo Feng suffocate. Every one of them was an astronomical treasure. Every one of them could be exchanged for tens of thousands of life planets, even hundreds of thousands. All these treasures added together far exceeded the value of a galaxy. Compared to a Sector Lord that had just stepped into the Sector Lord level, their value was much higher. Who? Luo Feng looked at the astronomical treasures floating before him. His heartbeat sped up uncontrollably, his blood boiling. I've kept all these treasures in this space ring. The white-bearded old man threw a space ring to Luo Feng. Luo Feng received it and checked the treasures within, creasing his eyebrows. Lord Wu, where are the 5 thunder techniques? The 5 thunder techniques are stored separately in the 5 quantum computers. The white-bearded old man smiled. Thank you, Lord Wu, then I'll leave first. Luo Feng cupped his hands and left. On the vast plains, the Allied army bases' numbers had already exceeded 500,000. Obviously the other teams that were outside were all returning. Luo Feng's exchange was successful. His mood was extremely good as he left the ancient castle and returned to the 3-Axe Mountain camp. 30. Thunder God saw Luo Feng return, waving and shouting, "You're here." Luo Feng laughed as he walked over. How is it? Hong asked cautiously with a wisp of expectation in his eyes. We came too late. All the good stuff has already been exchanged. Whether it's the D6 laser cannon, the Fruit of Life, or the Heart of Stars, all these rare treasures are gone. Luo Feng communicated mentally. He had no choice but to be careful, as he was currently within the army. There were many other people from the 3-Axe Mountain around him. All gone. Hong and Thunder God were stunned. Yes. As for what you wanted, I've gotten my hands on 5 sets of lightning secret technique. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at Thunder God. Second brother, this thunder technique is a secret technique from the dead Sector Lord Kabu. It's not bad for you to learn it. Among the treasures, this lightning secret art was not considered precious. After all, Realm Lord Kabu was only a Realm Lord. Some of the absolute arts that he comprehended were not that strong, compared to the Inheritance Crystal Ball. If it was an undying being's secret technique, then that would be incredible. Luo Feng's Yun Mo planet secret technique was much stronger than the thunder technique. Of course, in the path of thunder, the Yun Mo planet might be weak. After all, the Yun Mo planet specialized in spirit readers. Haha, let me have a look. Thunder God couldn't help it. He trained in the path of thunder after all. Don't rush. Hong communicated mentally. There are many eyes around. If someone finds out, there might be some trouble. After we leave the world of thunder, you can slowly look at the thunder technique. And training in these techniques isn't something that can be done in a short period of time. Alright, I'll listen to Big Brother. Thunder God was clear-headed. Big brother, second brother, Luo Feng said, even though I've exchanged, I still have 60,000 thunderstones left. You still have so many left? Hong and Thunder God were stunned. Hong said, we can't waste these thunderstones. Since we can't exchange them, hurry and sell them. Once we leave the world within a world, the thunderstones will be worthless. Right now in the Allied army, there are still people buying thunderstones. Even though the prices aren't as high as when we first started, we'll sell for as much as we can. Luo Feng communicated mentally, Big brother, second brother, we'll be in the army these 2 days. If we see anyone buying, we'll have a good talk and see how much we can sell for. All right. Hong and Thunder God nodded. In the next few days, the army on the plains grew in numbers, and Luo Feng took the chance to sell the 60,000 thunderstones in batches. Because even the dealers couldn't swallow so many in one go. Because at the end of the exchange period, the treasures within the castle were few and far between, the thunderstones' exchange prices fell greatly. The 60,000 thunderstones were sold at varying prices. The average price was about 80 cubic meters of universe crystals per thunderstone, selling for a total of 5 million cubic meters of universe crystals. Adding in the universe crystals that the cloud contact vine stole from the ambush, and the ones that Luo Feng and the others dug up, there was a total of 8 million cubic meters of universe crystals. 8 million cubic meters of universe crystals, that's 8 billion universe dollars. Haha, even that Newland Shan family doesn't have that much wealth. Thunder God was very proud. Calm down, this is just a small change. Hong joked and laughed, the bigger part is those treasures. Of course I understand. Thunder God smiled. Luo Feng's mood was extremely good too. The huge treasure trove in the world within a world, according to logic, it should only be acquired by the few large organizations and powers. However, with his precise scanning, he had dug out his first bucket of gold, acquiring over 1 million thunderstones. Relying on his first bucket of gold to acquire the life fruit, it allowed the cloud contact vine to undergo a super evolution. Relying on the evolved cloud contact vine and Babata, he had a super huge looting. In terms of rewards, many 10,000-man teams couldn't even catch up to Luo Feng's team. The only ones stronger than Luo Feng's team were the 9th Prince Brolin and a few allied teams. However, the truly valuable items within the treasure trove, like the Inheritance Crystal Ball's 3 accounts, the Sector Lord's bank account password, the Domain Lord level bloodline medicine etc., among the top 10 treasures, Luo Feng had only acquired one of the 3 life fruits, the others were nothing. The 5th day after Luo Feng's exchange. On the plains, close to 600,000 allied troops gathered around the castle, white light shone down on the ground. Haha little punks. In the air above the Thunder Castle, the white-bearded old man's silhouette appeared. He stood in the air above the castle, gazing down at the allied troops surrounding the castle, full of smiles. Just now, my last treasure has been exchanged. From now on, my 312 treasures have all been exchanged. Right now, the exchange has ended. Rumble, the ancient castle's huge doors automatically began to close. Around the castle, the hundreds of thousands of allied troops were all stunned. Ended? The exchange had ended? I still have thunderstones that I haven't exchanged for. I still have more. The thunderstones I just bought, what do we do? Immediately, within the allied troops, many were flustered and exasperated, some even angrily roared. To these star level 9 warriors, the thunderstones in their hands originally represented a huge fortune that made them dumbstruck. However, in the blink of an eye, the thunderstones had become useless rocks. The moment they couldn't exchange for them, the thunderstones were practically worthless. Some were angry, some were shouting, some were happy. However, the treasure trove of the world within a world had ended. I reckon that castle definitely has more treasures. Thunder God looked at the castle. There are, but they aren't ours. Hong revealed a rare smile. A castle left behind by a sector lord, it definitely isn't that easy to break through. The world within a world journey has ended. Luo Feng smiled too. Suddenly, not too far away, a messenger soldier ran over, shouting, Luo Feng, I'll inform you all, the treasure exchange has ended. In a while, our 3-Axe Mountain army will be moving out. Leaving the world within a world, going to the world of thunder, from there, returning to Tsanglan Star. Understood. Luo Feng shouted. Also, the Allied troops forbid killing, however, the moment they move out, the return route of the various armies won't belong to the Allied troops, hence there's a possibility of battles happening on the way back. Be careful, don't leave the main group. The messenger said. Understood. Thanks. Luo Feng and the others smiled as they replied. This was something they knew long ago. The so-called, the Allied troops forbid killing, was actually for the various armies to safely exchange for treasures. After the treasure exchange ended, the various armies returned. Some had huge gains, some had very little. Teams with very little gains teamed up and began robbing other teams. This wasn't strange. Anyway, we're following the 3-Axe Mountain army. Luo Feng smiled. 3-Axe Mountain has close to 80,000 people here, and 2 universe levels. It's still very safe. We'll just stay at the back. Thunder God revealed a smile. There's only 4 of us, and we're all direct subordinates under Lord Mingyu. We don't need to be at the front. Indeed, the first batch of people from 3-Axe Mountain that entered the world within a world all stayed at the core of the main army. And the main army had never thought of using this 4-man team. After all, a 4-man team was too weak, and when they deployed their troops, it was usually done in groups of 1,000. With a 4-man team in the middle, it would instead affect their deployment. The North Dragon City army has moved out. In the eyes of the other allied armies, a vast army uniformly rose into the air, covering the sky and covering the sun. Tens of thousands of people immediately flew into the distance. 3-Axe Mountain, everyone listen to my orders. Move out. A low voice resounded from the center of the 3-Axe Mountain army, the large ape man, resounding in everyone's ears. And within the vast army, Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God and Ao Gu, the 4 were naturally part of it. Let's move out. Luo Feng and the other 3 rose into the air at the same time. The vast army of close to 80,000 people, much more than the North Dragon City army. 80,000 people flying in the air, what kind of concept was that? Just like an infinitely large dark cloud, covering the entire sky, even the planes became pitch black. They became countless beams of light, swiftly flying into the distance. Chapter 363. The Allied Army Camp. The 9th Prince Buluolin looked at the vast army of the 3-Axe Mountain, flying into the distance. Your Majesty. A bodyguard beside him said, Are we still not leaving? Don't rush. Buluolin said coldly, Everything, I have my own plans. Yes. The bodyguard didn't dare say more. Buluolin thought to himself, Are we going to fight or not? Grandpa, please give me an order. Now that the various parties are leaving the Allied army camp, we can start fighting. Asterisk, 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 the vast universe, encompassing everything mysterious and unfathomable. Flesh and blood life forms included humans, beasts, etc. There were also metal life forms, plant life forms, energy life forms, AI life forms, etc. And in terms of danger, white dwarfs and neutron stars were the most common. There were also many incomparably dangerous regions. Similarly, there were many mystical items called treasures. Some treasures had miraculous effects on flesh and blood life forms, while others had miraculous effects on other life forms. In this vast universe, there was a starfield called Black Dragon Mountain Starfield. And within the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, the Tsanglan Star had become the focal point of the entire starfield during this period of time. Many super-strong warriors had descended upon this place. Tsanglan Star cities were split into ancient cities and new cities. Many of the ancient cities had millions of years of history, and the Universe Mercenary Alliance's camp was in one of the ancient cities. This ancient city's tallest skyscraper, a skyscraper that was about 8,600 meters tall, had a huge hall on the top floor, with a space of more than 1,000 square meters. In such a huge hall, there were only 2 wide wooden chairs facing each other. In front of the chairs there was a tea table. The 2 chairs facing each other, each had a person sitting. On one side sat a handsome godlike face, his eyes flashing with lightning, an absolute warrior, 3 Axe Mountains Sector Lord Jiang Tianchen. And on the other side, sat a bald, eagle-nosed old man with a pair of strange pupils, Black Dragon Mountain Sacred Lands Sector Lord Hargray. Between the 2 of them, Jiang Tianchen had a lightning mark between his eyebrows, while Hargray had an ice mark between his eyebrows. Although the 2 of them did not display their true strength, the entire hall was under the influence of the lightning origin and the ice origin. Jiang Tianchen, I cannot agree to your conditions. Hargray's voice was hoarse, like 2 blades rubbing against each other. You will change your mind, Jiang Tianchen said indifferently. The 2 of them were existences at the pinnacle of world overlords. In the Black Dragon Mountain starfield, they were existences that stood at the pinnacle. The only ones stronger than them were undying. The 9th Prince Buluolin was Hargray's grandson. It was because of Hargray's strength that the 9th Prince Buluolin had such power. After all, the Emperor had many princes, and most of the princes were destined not to inherit the throne, nor did they have many privileges. However, Buluolin possessed astonishing power because of his mother's bloodline. I can only agree to 6 of them. Hargray's gaze was sharp, as though it could pierce through space. Jiang Tianchen, if you agree, then it'll be a happy ending. These 9 conditions, not one less. Jiang Tianchen shook his head. If you agree, I'll give you the last password of the inheritance crystal ball. Hargray couldn't hide the anger on his face. At the same time, within the virtual universe, Abu, dressed in a black and gold long robe, the bald eagle-nosed old man Hargray instantly appeared within a palace. Within the palace, Buluolin stood there in a daze. Grandfather. Buluolin's eyes lit up. Should we make a move? If we delay any longer, we might not make it in time. Do it, Hargray said softly. Make a move on the 3 Axe Mountain troops, kill their leader and take their quantum computers. Let's see if we can find the record of the last password in their optical computer. The password obtained from the Thunder Castle was naturally recorded in the quantum computer and sent into the virtual universe to inform the Sector Lord Jiang Tianchen. Understood. Buluolin's eyes lit up with a hint of excitement and madness. Grandfather, don't worry. Hargray rubbed his grandson's head dotingly. Buluolin was very obedient. He was very clear that the privilege he had amongst the many princes was all given to him by this grandfather of his. Even the royal family looked at strength. With a Sector Lord as a grandfather, his position was obviously different. And if any of the princes could become a Sector Lord, they could immediately sit on the throne. World within a world, the Allied army base. Depart. With one order, the Black Dragon Mountain Sacred Land had a total of 150,000 survivors, of which there were only 60,000 that listened to the 9th Prince. And with one order from the 9th Prince, 60,000 of them rose into the air and swiftly left. The 60,000 flew towards the border region, and after 2 days of flying, the army rested at night. Your Majesty, these are the 2,000 elites we picked out. A bodyguard said respectfully. Buluolin looked at the 2,000 standing before him. Very good. Buluolin smiled, waving his hand. Immediately a disc-shaped universe ship appeared in the empty space beside him. Yes. His space ring was just enough to store 1 ship. Arrange for them to enter the ship's cabin, lower deck. Buluolin said. Yes. His 8 bodyguards immediately began to make arrangement. The interior of the spaceship was divided into upper, middle, and lower levels. Each level was at least 10 meters tall, so there were many rooms in the cabin. Some of the beds were even made up of 4 layers of beds. A room that was only a few dozen square meters, as it was 10 m tall, it could fit 8 people within, and it wouldn't be too cramped. The entire ship, accommodating 2,000 people, was extremely easy. Your Majesty, the 2,000 people have all been arranged. Depart. Buluolin was in high spirits. With one order, the ship immediately rose into the air, swiftly breaking through the skies and chasing after the 3-Axe Mountain army. The army's flying speed, how could it match the universe ship's speed? Within the universe ship control room, the 9th Prince Buluolin stood in front of the control board. Behind him stood 8 bodyguards. Master, to the 3-Axe Mountain army, there's still 120,000 kilometers. 100,000 kilometers. 80,000 kilometers. 60,000 kilometers. The control board screen emitted an electronic sound. We're about to make contact. 20,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers. The ship decelerates. Scan the 3-Axe Mountain army. Confirm the locations of the 12 important targets. Buluolin ordered. Yes, Master. This D8 grade universe ship's scanning range was a full 200,000 kilometers. It easily scanned the entire 3-Axe Mountain army. Immediately the electronic sound resounded. The 3-Axe Mountain army has a total of 78,503 people. The 12 important targets are at. A huge virtual screen appeared within the ship. On the screen, a vast army appeared. Within it were 12 dots of light. Simultaneously, 12 heads appeared on the left side of the screen, of which there were 2 universe levels, a few captains, and shockingly one was Luo Feng's head. Use 3D6 grade laser cannons to bombard their army, causing them to be in chaos. Don't attack these 12, they all have treasures, and their AI computers may even have passwords. Destroying them would be a waste. Arrange for another 12 people, use the laser guns and kill these 12. After that, during the chaos, the army will descend and swiftly steal their treasures. Especially their AI computers. Buluolin said coldly. Yes. The 8 bodyguards bowed respectfully. The C2 grade laser guns, even though Buluolin only brought 9 at the start, when the 2 million army entered the world within a world, they brought quite a few of them. Gathering 12 now was indeed easy. Go! Buluolin's voice was suppressed, but his eyes were filled with excitement. The vast army of the 3-Axe Mountain flew through the air. Luo Feng and his team were mixed within the crowd, chatting and laughing, their moods extremely good. 30, we've earned this much. Even if we train to the Domain Lord level, we won't have to worry about money. Thunder God laughed. Don't get carried away. Hong laughed. Luo Feng, however, communicated through spirit energy. Everyone be careful, my scanning device has detected. There should be a large scanning system scanning our area. Large scanning system? Hong, Thunder God and Ao Gu were all shocked within. Luo Feng nodded, his expression serious. Everyone be careful. Luo Feng and his team became cautious. The entire 3-Axe Mountain army was discussing and laughing. Rumble! 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 3 beams of black light immediately descended within the 3-Axe Mountain army like 3 black holes. Luo Feng and his team only felt the entire world go silent, without a sound or presence. They could only see the distant point of impact tremble violently. The hundreds of star level 9 warriors immediately turned into nothingness, and the tremble produced a shock wave visible to the naked eye, spreading in all directions. Wherever it passed, large numbers of soldiers were shaken to death, fresh blood seeping out from their armors and helmets. The shock wave was silent at first. After killing everyone within a 100 m radius, only then did it become rumbling, causing large numbers of explorers to spit out fresh blood and suffer heavy injuries. Rumble, just one cannon shot. Thousands of people had died. This had something to do with the concentration of the army. This. Luo Feng stared wide-eyed, completely stunned by that terrifying cannon shot. Chi. Luo Feng felt as though someone had smashed his head with a stick. 12 beams of white light descended from the sky. In an instant, it struck the entire 3-axe mountain army of 12 people, including the 2 universe-level warriors, including the captains, including Luo Feng. Chi, 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 chi. 12 beams of white light. 12 people fell on the spot. 30. Luo Feng, Master. Hong, Thunder God and Ao Gu were all shocked awake. Luo Feng, who had fallen on the ground, opened his eyes dizzily. This? Luo Feng's mind was still rumbling. That was 12 beams of C2 grade laser light. The other 11 people of the 3-axe mountain, including the 2 universe level 1 warriors, were all killed. Only you relied on the cloud contact vine to block it. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. P.S. 2 chapters complete. Chapter 364. What? Luo Feng was shocked as he looked around. Rumble, it was as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. A huge spaceship suddenly appeared in the sky, and at the same time, the bottom of the spaceship automatically split open. A large number of adventurers wearing black battlesuits tilted out from the bottom of the spaceship and swooped down. They automatically formed 12 teams and rushed down like a gale. And there were laser beams shooting in all directions towards the 3-axe mountain camp, causing them to be in chaos. Block them! Kill them! It's the Black Dragon Mountain people! Kill! Roars of rage resounded throughout the 3-axe mountain camp. Even though thousands had died, these 80,000 people were still people who had struggled through the thin line between life and death. Even after suffering such a violent sneak attack, they still quickly stabilized. In the sky, within the universe ship's control room, the 9th Prince Brolin stood coldly within the control room. Through the external simulation, he could clearly see everything that was happening below. The vast 80,000-strong army below, after suffering an attack from 3D6 grade rail cannons, along with the laser beams from the 12 laser guns, especially the 2,000 elite soldiers split into 12 teams, fiercely rushing into the chaotic army, causing the 3-axe mountain army to do their best to stop them. Close to 80,000 people, however, they were all spread out. And the 12 elite teams were not afraid of death, with the laser guns opening the way. Only after the 12 people's remains. Of course their efficiency was extremely high. Number 1 succeeded. Number 8 succeeded. Number 9 succeeded. Number 6 succeeded. Signals were sent back one by one. The elite teams obtained their quantum computers or space rings and immediately returned. This lightning-fast sneak attack didn't even last more than 3 minutes. The 12 teams swiftly returned to the universe ship, and that universe ship swiftly accelerated, disappearing into the horizon. Large amounts of the 3-axe mountain camp's people looked up at the leaving universe ship, letting out angry roars. Within the crowd, Luo Feng and the other 3 were similarly filled with rage. Luckily you have the cloud contact protection, otherwise, that 9th Prince Brolin is just trash, bastard trash. Thunder God was incomparably furious. Almost. Hong's expression was ugly too. This Buluolin is really ruthless. Luo Feng could clearly smell the stench of blood that permeated the air and land, and the distant battle uniforms, boots and helmets that had fallen on the ground. Within these uniforms and boots were pieces of meat, bones, or a heart-chilling large amount of fresh blood. There were also a large number of corpses from the elite team sent by the 9th Prince. Don't bother so much, we don't have any ideas now. Luo Feng snorted softly. Endure it for now, following the army out is the most important thing. Yes. Hong and Thunder God were filled with anger, but they could only endure it. Looking at the 3-axe mountain army swiftly becoming orderly, obviously the death of a few thousand didn't have much of an effect. Luo Feng felt a wave of fear, if that spear had pierced through his head. If it was a normal human, he would have died without a doubt. But the core of his life was the original core of his inner world. Even if his head was pierced through, it could still grow back. If that's the case, then the Three-Axe Mountain Army will definitely find out that I, Luo Feng, actually have the ability to not die even after my head is smashed into pieces. It would definitely arouse their curiosity. Even the universe levels, domain lords and sector lords on Songlan Star are curious about it. Luo Feng's heart was filled with fear. Within the universe ship, we've acquired 7 quantum computers and 8 storage items. The 9th Prince Brolin's face seemed to be covered in a layer of frost, staring at the quantum computers and storage items on the ground, saying softly, "This is your efficiency? Your Majesty." Of the 12 people that were shot by the laser gun, 11 of them died and 1 didn't. After that, when we went to acquire the quantum computers, there were others beside the corpses trying to acquire them too. Hence, to be able to acquire 7 quantum computers and 8 storage items is indeed not easy. A bodyguard said. Brolin glanced at him. That bodyguard's body trembled, not daring to say another word. In the future, if you don't do well, don't find excuses, understand? Brolin looked at that bodyguard. Understood. The bodyguard knelt down on one knee. One didn't die, who is it? Brolin asked. Target number 12. The bodyguard replied. Brolin's eyebrows creased. I remember him. That punk with the universe ship as well. All of you leave, Brolin said coldly. The 8 of them swiftly left. Brolin was the only one left in the control room, after which Brolin squatted down and began to inspect the quantum computers and the storage items. 6 treasures? Brolin didn't care much, instead carefully inspecting the quantum computers. Nothing? You didn't find any records of the password. These AIs, they weren't the quantum computers that went to exchange for the inheritance crystal ball password holders? Brolin's face was ashen, his heart filled with anxiety, after which he furiously stomped on the quantum computers, causing them to shatter. Songlan Star. In the huge hall at the top of a skyscraper that pierced through the clouds, the 2 Sector Lord Pinnacle warriors Jiang Tianchun and Hargrey sat opposite each other. Hargrey, I'll say it again, if you want the last password, then you have to agree to my 9 conditions, not one less. Jiang Tianchun said calmly. You sure are vicious. Hargrey squinted. The 2 warriors stared at each other. I agree to your conditions. Hargrey took a deep breath. Ha ha ha. Jiang Tianchun stood up, his face full of smiles. Hargrey, it's been a pleasure working with me. Pleasure? Hargrey stood up, without much of a smile on his face. Jiang Tianchun's smile was very wide. Don't be so unwilling. You want the inheritance crystal ball, I want these, it's not much. Jiang Tianchun's lips curled into a smile. Also, in the world within a world, one of my soldiers exchanged for the last password, and used the quantum computer. I've already ordered for it to be completely destroyed. I've also sent people to kill that soldier. Hence, in the world within a world, no matter what you do, you won't be able to get the last password. Hargrey's face froze before he squeezed out a smile. Respect, respect. Same. Jiang Tianchun smiled. Prepare everything, I'll give you the password when the time comes. The things you want, I need a month to prepare. Hargrey said. I'm not in a rush. No rush at all, when your things are prepared, I'll give you the password. Jiang Tianchun laughed. Hargrey, then I'll be leaving first. See you out. Hargrey said. Who? In the hall, there was a flash of lightning, and Jiang Tianchun, who was originally standing in the hall, had already disappeared. Hargrey slowly walked to the huge French window, from 800 meters in the air. He looked down at the ancient city below, his eyes cold as a sword. He said in a low voice, Jiang Tianchun, this time I'll let you take advantage of me. In the future, I'll definitely make you spit out everything you've swallowed today. Hargrey's expression was savage. This time he had practically used up all of his assets, by Jiang Tianchun. Humph! Hargrey angrily snorted. Who? The cold wind blew past, and Hargrey also disappeared into the hall. After a while, the door to the huge hall finally opened. 2 attendants walked in, looking at each other. The door was locked, the windows were closed. Why is he gone? After flying for about 7 days in the world within a world, they finally passed through the exit, arriving at the Wind and Thunder Canyon of the World of Thunder. After flying for about 7 days in the World of Thunder, the 3-Axe Mountain Army finally arrived at the final exit, the exit to Tsang-Lan's star. However, this exit wasn't as big as the black hole in the Wind and Thunder Canyon. That black hole could allow hundreds of people to travel side by side, but this exit could only allow a few. Shwa, shwa, shwa. The adventurers became flowing lights and continuously flew towards the exit. This exit is too small. How long will it take for so many people to arrive? Thunder God floated and looked forward. Even though the adventurers' movement speed is extremely fast, it'll take at least an hour for us to arrive, Luo Feng estimated. Even if 10 people charged out in a second, there would only be around 30,000 people in an hour. It's about time for them, who were in the middle of the army. We're finally going out. Hong laughed as he sighed. This time sure was mysterious. It was quite mysterious. Luo Feng also laughed. Originally, they were going to take the Universe Mercenary Trainee exam, but who would have thought that they would discover a new world within a world? Immediately, all the adventurers no longer cared about the exam, and all threw themselves into the world within a world to fight for their lives. The world within a world represents a huge amount of wealth. Clearly, this time's fight was the right choice. Luo Feng's gains were simply too huge. In terms of wealth, he can compare to a regular sector lord. Of course, he still can't compare to the peak of sector lords like Thunder Sector Lord Kabu, Jiang Tianchen and Hargray. In terms of strength, the Cloud Contact Vine also made a huge breakthrough. We have quite a bit of wealth now, but the difference between strength and wealth is too big. Thunder God muttered, "We need to increase our strength when we go back." Okay. Luo Feng nodded. As they waited, large amounts of adventurers flew in one by one. Finally, it was Luo Feng's turn. Go. Charge. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God, and Ao Gu became 4 flowing lights and swiftly rushed into the waterfall of flowing light. Tsang-Lan's star, ancient city. That villa specially opened a path in one of the walls, allowing large amounts of adventurers that rushed out of the world of thunder to swiftly fly out. Whoosh, countless adventurers flew out one after the other. All adventurers, gather in front. Those who want to escape, kill. Those who don't obey the manager, kill. In mid-air floated many universe-level warriors, amongst which there was an occasional domain lord. These warriors all stared coldly at the adventurer army that had luckily survived and returned. Angry roars directly entered the ears of every adventurer, causing the adventurer army to not dare to fly around randomly. 30 look over there. Thunder God, who was in the army, said in shock. HM? Luo Feng followed the direction of Thunder God's gaze, only to see that in the distant floating absolute warriors, there was a cold warrior dressed in a dark green battle uniform with pointy ears, Nulan Shan. That Nulan Shan felt someone looking at him. He turned his head and looked, immediately spotting Luo Feng in the crowd. Chapter 365. Not good. Luo Feng's expression changed. In the distance, Nulan Shan, who was originally in charge of maintaining order, saw Luo Feng and his eyes gleamed, immediately rushing over. What luck! To actually let me meet this punk here. Haha, if I meet him in reality, I'll use him as an excuse for offending me and execute him. With my status, who would say anything? Nulan Shan was extremely confident in the vast universe. It was indeed so. The position of a universe level was tens of millions of times higher than a star level. Stepping into the universe level, one step into the heavens. For a universe level to kill a star level, it was indeed like stepping on an ant. Right now, Nulan Shan wanted to step on this ant Luo Feng to death. Tsang-Lan's star ancient city, on the vast plains, the 3-Axe Mountain army was flying down to assemble. And in the distance, Nulan Shan was flying towards the 3-Axe Mountain army. "This is my 3-Axe Mountain army, Nulan Shan. Your 100 Tiger Buildings people are trespassing into my 3-Axe Mountain army. What are you trying to do?" A loud roar accompanied by spirit energy immediately spread throughout the entire 3-Axe Mountain army of 70,000 people, causing all the adventurers in the army to turn their heads to look. In an instant, they saw a silhouette rushing over from the distance. Nulan Shan. "That's Nulan Shan? Someone from the 100 Tiger Building? Why is someone from the 100 Tiger Building flying towards our army?" The adventurer army immediately broke out in discussion. Being stared at by 70,000 people, Nulan Shan, who was flying over from the distance, immediately stopped, his expression ugly, cursing within. "That Luo Feng actually dares to be so daring. He's just a star-level cannon fodder. He actually dares to use his genetic energy to communicate in such a situation. He's simply too arrogant." In an army, how could a small soldier dare to shout so loudly for the entire army to hear? It was the same logic. In theory, normal soldiers wouldn't dare shout so loudly. However, Nulan Shan didn't know. Luo Feng wasn't even a soldier of the 3-Axe Mountain organization. "Nulan Shan, stop. You stop. What are you doing here?" Immediately, 5 silhouettes that were also in charge of maintaining order flew over. These 5 were all universe-level warriors belonging to the 3-Axe Mountain organization. The 5's expressions were ugly. This adventurer army, many of them are carrying treasures from the world within a world. The various sector lords and domain lords haven't even come to collect their treasures. Nulan Shan, the people from the 100 Tiger Building actually dared to barge into our 3-Axe Mountain army. Could it be that they want to steal our treasures? He's a universe level, even he doesn't have such guts. The 5 universe-level warriors were furious. 5. Nulan Shan revealed a smile. "Nulan Shan, you want to charge into our adventurer army?" The 5 universe-level warriors looked at Nulan Shan. "No, it's not," Nulan Shan communicated. "I'm only a universe level. On this Tsonglan star there are many people stronger than me by thousands and tens of thousands of times. There are so many world overlords and world overlords here, I don't dare to have such thoughts. I only saw an enemy, I didn't expect to see him today. Hence, I want to settle this today." The 5 universe-level warriors nodded. "Who is your enemy?" Among the 5, a tall and sturdy man with hair like steel needles asked. "He's called Luo Feng, a small soldier within the army." Nulan Shan said. "Soldier?" The 5 universe-level warriors glanced at each other. "5 sirs, handing over a small soldier to me, there shouldn't be a problem, right?" Nulan Shan didn't dare to act recklessly. After all, there were many universe levels and domain lords maintaining order around. If he dared to act recklessly, even if the other organizations didn't act, their 100 Tiger Building would probably personally deal with Nulan Shan. The treasures obtained by the adventurer army, the sector lords and domain lords haven't been retrieved yet. At this time, not a single soldier will be given to you. The 5 universe-level warriors were very clear-headed at this time. Nulan Shan's expression became even uglier. "Nulan Shan, right now the other universe levels and domain lords are all looking over here. From what I see, you should leave." The 5 universe-level warriors looked at him. Nulan Shan gritted his teeth, turned and left, not saying a word more. Within the army, Luo Feng looked at the distant Nulan Shan, blocked by the 5 universe levels of the 3-Axe Mountain, after which Nulan Shan could only leave hatefully. "Nulan Shan? I have to find a chance to settle him," Luo Feng thought within. "This Nulan Shan, we have to kill him." Beside, Hong's expression was serious, communicating, "Otherwise, with his Nulan Shan family eyeing Earth's treasures, our Earth will never have peace. Why don't we ask Lord Mingyu to act?" Thunder God looked at Luo Feng and Hong. Luo Feng's eyes immediately gleamed. Right. In a while, they would have to meet Mingyu. that Mingyu was a Universe 2-star mercenary. Even amongst the Domain Lords, he was considered a strong warrior. If the Domain Lord Mingyu was willing to act, it would be as easy as lifting a finger. After all, the higher the level, the harder it was to break through. Similarly, the difference in strength would also become more and more exaggerated. In a while, we will be giving Lord Mingyu treasures. When that time comes and ask for his help, the chances of success are very high. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng, how many treasures are you prepared to give Mingyu? Thunder God communicated. Right, Luo Feng, what do you think about this question? Hong looked at Luo Feng, as the majority of the treasures exchanged this time were Luo Feng's, hence the two of them let Luo Feng decide. A good level 5 genetic energy weapon, Luo Feng said. 1. Hong and Thunder God looked at Luo Feng. One is enough. This one, if we were to calculate its value, even with Lord Mingyu's entire fortune, it would still be hard to buy it. Luo Feng had Babata to guide him from the side. He was very clear on how high the price of the weapon he was prepared to bring out, even though the amount of thunderstones he exchanged for wasn't much more than the lowest level fire wheel. But the price was tens of times more. Mingyu, a Domain Lord, even amongst the Domain Lords, even if they sold their entire fortune, they still wouldn't be able to afford it. Time passed. In the wasteland beside the ancient city, the surviving explorers of the Three-Axe Mountain were camped here. A few strong warriors began to fly over, bringing away the troops that belonged to them. As time passed, the number of troops in the wasteland continued to decrease. 70,000, 60,000, 50,000, 40,000. Luo Feng. Haha, seeing the four of you, it really makes me happy, haha. That carefree laughter resounded. The tall and sturdy Mingyu floated in mid-air. Luo Feng's group of 4 and the other 200-plus people all flew towards Mingyu. Lord. The 200-plus explorers bowed respectfully. And Luo Feng's group of 4 stood shoulder to shoulder, bowing respectfully to Lord Mingyu. Very good, let's go, we'll rest in my villa. Mingyu brought Luo Feng's group of 4 and the 200-plus explorers, swiftly leaving. About 20 kilometers away from the wasteland, within the ancient city. In an old shopping center's top floor, Nulan Shan was looking through the window at the distant wasteland, seeing Luo Feng's group of 4 and Mingyu leave. Nulan Shan's expression immediately changed. Not good. I didn't expect this Luo Feng to actually climb up to Lord Mingyu's leg, and from the looks of it, Lord Mingyu is rather courteous to him. Wanting to kill him will be hard. Nulan Shan fiercely grabbed the railing beside him. Chi-chi, the railing immediately turned to dust. In an elegant and beautiful villa built on the grasslands, the 200-plus explorers had long been sent away. Luo Feng's group of 4 sat at the same table as Mingyu. Being brought by Mingyu, Luo Feng was rather regretful, because after waiting there for so long, he still hadn't seen a single sector lord. The sector lords all sent people to bring the explorers away, not personally coming. Speaking of which, it's really a pity this time. The army I sent, one called Bindi, managed to break through to the universe level. He too got me a treasure. Even though it's one of the lowest ranked, it's still a very valuable treasure. Mingyu shook his head and sighed. However, on the way back, we were ambushed by the 9th Prince's men. Even the treasure was taken away. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God looked at each other. This Lord Mingyu was really unlucky. How were your gains in the world within a world this time? Mingyu looked at Luo Feng's group. We exchanged for a treasure. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at Mingyu. Mingyu's tiger eyes immediately shot out 2 beams of light. What treasure? Mingyu was filled with anticipation. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Immediately a 3-m-long broadsword floated in mid-air. On the surface of the broadsword were incomparably complex engravings. The engravings caused the entire blade to emanate a heart-palpitating energy. Around the blade, the space itself seemed to tremble. The powerful energy caused Luo Feng's group to go pale. Lord Mingyu, This is the level 5 genetic energy weapon air cutter blade. Luo Feng said. Good, good, good. Ming Yu's eyes were burning, staring hard at the air cutter blade. Treasure. Even more valuable than the treasure his underling Bundi got. This air cutter saber was ranked 29th on the list. After all, amongst the level 3 weapons, the highest price is a few $100 billion black dragon dollars, the lowest is only a few billion black dragon dollars, the difference is 100 times. One theory, amongst the level 5 genetic energy weapons, the difference is even more exaggerated. That fire wheel is at the bottom, and this air cutter blade is at the top. One is comparable to tens of fire wheels. Luo Feng, this gift of yours is very valuable. Ming Yu's expression was complicated, looking at Luo Feng's group. Do you know how much this gift is worth? Sky high. Luo Feng laughed. This is a price we can't even imagine, that's all I know. Right, sky high. My entire net worth is far from enough. Ming Yu looked at Luo Feng. I said before, I won't mistreat you. Speak, what requests do you have? I want to kill someone. Luo Feng said. Kill someone, how strong is he? What level of domain lord? Ming Yu creased his eyebrows. Universe level 9. Luo Feng said. Haha. Ming Yu laughed. Universe level 9? That was too easy for him. Killing 10 of them is far from being able to match up to this air cutter blade you gave me. How about this? Ming Yu pondered for a while. I'll give you a third of my territory. No, this way I'm afraid you'll be targeted by others. How about this? I have close to 100,000 life planets under me. From today on, half of the ownership will belong to you, the other half to me. However, you'll be in charge of everything normally, the profits from the planets, the soldiers, etc., I don't care. And cash. Ming Yu pondered. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Chapter 366. Lord Ming Yu. Luo Feng shouted. I'm just a star level, I have no use for so much territory and cash. Ming Yu looked at Luo Feng, that iron-like face revealed a smile. Luo Feng, you won't be able to use too much territory and cash right now. However, as a domain lord, how can I just take your benefits for free? What's more, having some territory, patrolling it as a leader, it's still very interesting. How about some territory, 10,000 life planets? 100 planets. Luo Feng nodded. Planet territories, they weren't of much use to him. Getting 100 life planets as territories was still a form of appreciation. Alright, 100 it is. With 100 life planets as territories, it won't stand out in the universe, it won't attract the attention of any big figures. Ming Yu laughed. As for cash, I really don't have much, it's far from the price of your air cutter blade. Lord Ming Yu, just give whatever you want. Us 3 brothers have already gotten a lot this time. Luo Feng was very clear, he couldn't be too greedy. Otherwise, if he made the other party hate him, that would be troublesome. What's more, he had gotten many treasures this time. This air cutter blade wasn't even 1/10 of the other treasures added together, it wasn't much. Give me your account number. Ming Yu said. Yes. Luo Feng gave him his Universe Galaxy Bank account number. TSK Universe Galaxy Bank. You have a little bit of wealth too. Ming Yu smiled, simultaneously using a thread of consciousness to connect to the Virtual Universe Network. Within the Virtual Universe Network, he began the money transfer. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God were all secretly guessing how much this Lord Ming Yu would transfer. Luo Feng, you've received a mail. Babata's voice resounded. Open it. Luo Feng swiftly closed his eyes, his consciousness connecting to the Virtual Universe Network, letting Babata open the mail. It was a notification from the Universe Galaxy Bank. Respected customer, how are you? Your account with our consciousness has just received 20 billion universe dollars. Your account balance has reached the 10 billion universe dollars limit, automatically upgrading to a 2-star account. You've also automatically become a respected 2-star customer of the Universe Galaxy Bank. As a star customer, you have many special rights. The mail has a list of special rights and explanations. Universe Galaxy Bank. It was a simple letter, but it shocked Luo Feng. Back on Jade Rock Star, Luo Feng already knew the meaning of a star account. And at that time, those two universe mercenaries only had one star account. It was obvious that reaching the star level was a very, very high threshold. So, deposit of 10 billion universe credits can automatically upgrade to a 2-star user? 10 billion universe dollars. 1 universe dollar is about 3,300 Ganwu dollars. 10 billion universe dollars is about 33 trillion Ganwu dollars. The average price of a planet is 1 trillion black dragon dollars, which is equivalent to 700 million Ganwu dollars. In other words, 10 billion universe credits is equivalent to close to 50,000 habitable planet. Thinking about this, Luo Feng couldn't help but be shocked. The cash that Area Master Ming Yu gave him was almost equivalent to the selling price of 100,000 habitable planets. Even for a region lord, this was a very high price. In the manner, Lord Mingyu. Luo Feng stood up. Sit. Mingyu raised his hand and pressed down. Luo Feng immediately felt a formless energy pressing down on his shoulder. He didn't even have time to resist before he was once again pressed down onto the ground. Don't think I've given you too much. Mingyu shook his head, his eyes gleaming. I haven't given you much at all. If you had only given me a weapon like the fire wheel, I'd have given you a lot. However, you've given me an air cutter blade. If I give you too little, I'll feel extremely guilty. Feeling guilty has an impact on my training. Who? The surrounding space slightly trembled. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God and Aogu were all shocked. Because in this quiet manner, there was actually another person. A tall and skinny man with 2 horns on his forehead. His black cape fluttered in the wind. As his eyes swept over, the entire land and skies seemed to be contained within his eyes. Lord General. Mingyu stood up and bowed respectfully. Simultaneously, he communicated to Luo Feng and the others. This is a Sector Lord warrior from my 3-Axe Mountain. Lord Sector Lord. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God and Aogu bowed. Sector Lord? They had never personally seen a living Sector Lord before. Luo Feng couldn't help but sneak a glance at this Sector Lord. His aura wasn't very strong. Only his eyes made one's heart tremble. Mingyu, your luck isn't bad. The tall and skinny man stood there, his legs slightly in the air, looking at Mingyu. Mingyu revealed a simple and honest smile. Air cutter blade, I'll buy it. The tall and skinny man said indifferently, this blade suits me very well. A level 5 genetic energy weapon, even I'm unable to fully unleash its power. Mingyu laughed. To be able to let the general use it is my honor. Following which, Mingyu retrieved the level 5 genetic energy weapon Air Cutter Blade from his space ring. That wide blade immediately floated towards the tall and skinny man. The tall and skinny man extended his hand and received the Air Cutter Blade. His eyes immediately gleamed. Chi. 2 golden beams of light shot out from his eyes and shone on the surface of the Air Cutter Blade. The engravings on the blade made him even more envious. Good blade. The tall and skinny man wielded the Air Cutter Blade and immediately slashed towards the sky. The clear blue sky, just like a huge piece of cloth, immediately had a 2 to 3 kilometers long, incredibly thin crack cut through it. One could vaguely see the life and death behind the crack, after which the crack swiftly disappeared and the sky once again returned to its calm state. Ha! The tall and skinny man who had been incomparably cold finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. Congratulations, General. Mingyu bowed. The Air Cutter Blade is indeed the Air Cutter Blade. My understanding of the space laws is only superficial. Relying on this Air Cutter Blade to activate it, my power has immediately increased greatly. The tall and skinny man laughed as he looked at Mingyu. Mingyu, since I've taken your Air Cutter Blade, Naturally, I won't let you suffer too much. I've already transferred the money to your account. Also, I owe you a favor. So, the tall and skinny man immediately vanished. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God and Aogu were all stunned. Just now, the Sector Lord Warrior had instantly appeared and taken the air cutter blade. After which, he immediately slashed open a crack in space and vanished as though he had teleported. Space crack? A 2 to 3 kilometers long space crack? Luo Feng was shocked within. It can actually tear open space? And the last thing was teleportation? It wasn't teleportation, but flying. The only thing was that the flying speed was too fast. As for not creating any turbulence in the air, that has to do with the Sector Lord's ability to control the universe energies. Babata's voice resounded. Flying? How fast? Luo Feng asked. When he finally left, his instantaneous speed was 32,169 kilometers per second. Luo Feng blinked twice. Light speed was merely 300,000 kilometers per second. And that Sector Lord from before, even though he didn't explode with his fastest speed, his instantaneous speed was already 1/10 of light speed. No wonder he was an absolute being that could destroy all life on a planet with a flip of his hand. Within the villa, the tall and sturdy domain Lord Mingyu laughed loudly and stood up. Luo Feng, I've taken the air cutter blade you gave me and sold it for a high price. I really have to thank you. Mingyu smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Speak, the universe level 9 you asked me to kill before, who was it? Nuolan Shan. Luo Feng said. Hong and Thunder God looked expectantly at Mingyu. Nuolan Shan? Mingyu was slightly shocked, creasing his eyebrows. It's him? Is there a problem? Luo Feng asked. A little problem, but it's not much of a problem. Mingyu shook his head, smiling. He received the Battle Axe Fighter title, hence his chances of breaking through to the Domain Lord level are extremely high. Hence he's always been treated as an elite within the 100 Tiger building. However, after so many years, he hasn't broken through, especially now that he's nearing the end of his life. His position within the 100 Tiger building has dropped. It's nothing much. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God let out a sigh of relief. The three of them exchanged glances. Nuolan Shan, he had to die. Only then could they truly be at ease. Let me first see where he is on Tsanglan Star. Mingyu closed his eyes, a formless spirit energy swiftly spread out, enveloping the entire Tsanglan Star, intentionally avoiding the Sector Lords. 1 second later, Mingyu opened his eyes. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God looked expectantly at him. He's not on Tsanglan Star. Mingyu shook his head. Not here. Luo Feng and the other two were shocked. I've already searched the entire Tsanglan Star, he's indeed not here. Mingyu said apologetically, My apologies, if I ever meet him again I'll definitely kill him and fulfill my promise. This isn't Lord Mingyu's fault, it's that Nuolan Shan who got lucky. Luo Feng said, feeling regretful within. Such a good opportunity, yet he wasn't able to kill Nuolan Shan. If he could kill Nuolan Shan in one move, then this trip to the world within a world would be truly perfect. Within the dark universe, a universe ship was swiftly flying. Within the control room of the universe ship. Teacher, we're rushing back so quickly, there are so many strong warriors on Tsanglan Star, it's rare to have such a gathering, wouldn't it be better to stay a little longer? The two universe-level warriors stood beside. Nuolan Shan was deep in thought. The team we sent this time was completely wiped out, we didn't get anything out of it, staying on Tsanglan Star is just a waste of time. Nuolan Shan's cold gaze swept past the two disciples under him. Also, I told you two to rely on your network of friends to investigate. Have you found out just what relationship Luo Feng and Sector Lord Mingyu have? The two universe-level warriors shook their heads. I've asked a few, none of them know. Me too, I've never heard of Lord Mingyu having an important person called Luo Feng. Nuolan Shan listened to his disciples' replies. His expression became even gloomier. This Luo Feng knows that I want to kill him. His relationship with Lord Mingyu is extremely good. He might very well ask Lord Mingyu to get rid of me. Nulan Shan thought, and Mingyu and I aren't from the same organization. Mingyu wouldn't have much to worry about. No matter what, it's better to leave Songlan Star as soon as possible. Ever since he discovered that Luo Feng and the others were taken away by Mingyu, Nulan Shan hadn't been able to relax. After that, he immediately made the decision to immediately board the ship and leave Songlan Star. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 367. Since they weren't able to kill Nulan Shan, Luo Feng and the other three could only regretfully leave. They first went to the Universe Mercenary Alliance's camp to hand in the items they needed for the mercenary trainee exam. Even though they didn't get enough wind cornerstones in the Valley of Wind and Thunder, Luo Feng and the other three killed quite a few robbing teams in the world within a world and obtained some wind cornerstones from their belongings. Universe Mercenary Trainee. We've also become Universe Mercenary Trainees, haha. There are as many powerful fighters as the clouds on Songlan Star. Let's leave earlier. Okay, let's go back to Earth. Luo Feng and the other three swiftly headed to the planet's docking bay, took their own universe ship, and left Songlan Star. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Universe travel. The universe ship slightly shook for a bit, and then started moving at 1.2 times the speed of light in the dark universe, swiftly heading in the designated direction. In the universe ship's control room, Luo Feng arranged for his old servant Aogu to rest long ago. He, Hong, and Thunder God were extremely excited as they stayed in the control room. Same rules, big brother, second brother, you guys each take 4 billion universe dollars. Luo Feng and the others were splitting the spoils. Third brother, Hong shook his head. This time, it was all on your own. Your second brother and I are just going to explore the world within a world. Taking this money is indeed. Thunder God also shook his head. It's too much, we don't need it. Luo Feng didn't hesitate and directly transferred 4 billion universe dollars to Hong and Thunder God. Hong and Thunder God both received the mail from the Virtual Universe Network. Big brother, second brother, this money is just a small amount. Our greater wealth is in the treasures, laughed Luo Feng. Ya nodded Hong. One air cutter blade is already so expensive, then all of the treasures added together. Thunder God's eyes flashed. Oh right. Second brother, there are a total of 5 Thunder Technique manuals. Luo Feng flipped his hand, and 5 mini-quantum computers floated above his hand. After that, these 5 mini-quantum computers all fell to the ground. Second brother, each mini-quantum computer has a Thunder Technique manual. Study it well. Sector Lord Kabuz Technique? Thunder God squatted down and pulled out the chips from the 5 mini-quantum computers. Then, he inserted one of the chips into his own mini-quantum computer. This feels so good. Thunder God was so excited that his face turned red. He closed his eyes and began to learn the Thunder Dao secret technique. In the control room, Thunder God was observing the secret lightning technique. Luo Feng and Hong were conversing. Third brother, Hong said solemnly in a low voice, the price of the other treasures added together is incomparably expensive, much more expensive than the air cutter blade. What are you going to do about it? So, said Luo Feng. How much? Hong said with a frown, these treasures are truly too valuable. I'm afraid they'll be very troublesome, and might even attract some super experts over. Not only will we not get any money from selling our treasures, but we'll also lose our lives. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. I understand this logic, however, I have a way. There's a way? What is it? Hong was curious. It's a secret for now. Luo Feng smiled mysteriously. In fact, these treasures added together were even more valuable than the net worth of many sector lords. It was much more expensive than eternal love. To take out such a treasure with Luo Feng's star-level strength, it would indeed be hard to handle. If he's not careful, he'll end up in trouble and attract the attention of powerful fighters. If this was back when he first arrived at Dragonstar, Luo Feng indeed wouldn't have a way. But now, Luo Feng already has a way to handle these treasures, and it's extremely safe. The Dark Universe was extremely silent. It took around 21 days to travel from Songlan Star back to Earth. In the control room, after Luo Feng and Hong chatted for a while, they suddenly noticed that Thunder God's eyes were wide open. "Second brother?" Hong laughed as he looked at him. "Why are your eyes wide open? Even though you got so many treasures, second brother, I don't see you looking so dumb," laughed Luo Feng. Thunder God blinked twice and looked towards Hong and Luo Feng. "Big brother, third brother, I have something to tell you." "HM?" Luo Feng and Hong exchanged glances. Something wasn't right. "What's wrong?" Hong looked at Thunder God. Thunder God mumbled. "Didn't third brother say that he received Yun Mo planet's inheritance?" I received Sector Lord Kabu's inheritance." Luo Feng and Hong opened their eyes wide. Inheritance? Receiving a secret technique and receiving an inheritance are two different concepts. Just now, I roughly scanned through the 5 secret techniques and inserted 5 chips into them. Thunder God said quietly, 4 of the secret techniques are proper secret techniques. However, the 5th secret techniques chip actually contains an AI. An AI? Luo Feng and Hong realized something. "It's that white-bearded old man." Thunder God blinked twice. "He even congratulated me and said that I became Sector Lord Kabu's disciple." "Lord Wu?" Luo Feng froze. "That crazy living AI, Lord Wu, could it be that his main body was actually one of those 5 chips? Sector Lord Kabu's disciple? Why does this scene seem so similar to when he became the disciple of the master of Yun Mo planet, Hu Yenbo? However, his teacher is the master of Yun Mo planet, Hu Yenbo. And Thunder God actually became the disciple of the dead Sector Lord Kabu? I bought 5 secret techniques and actually bought second brother a teacher?" Luo Feng was stunned. World within a world. After the adventurer army completely left, the members of the Universe Mercenary Alliance, 1 Sector Lord and 2 Domain Lords entered the world within a world and arrived in front of the ancient castle. Rumble, the ancient castle suddenly collapsed. "Lord, there are no treasures in this castle." A fat man with pink skin and a beard that looked like a meat mound shouted respectfully. "Lord, the AI in this castle is only an auxiliary AI, it's not a living AI. The white-bearded old man living AI in this castle must have mixed into one of the adventurer army's bodies and left the world within a world." Another skinny bearded man said. The Sector Lord wearing a black battle uniform floated in the air and slightly frowned. "If that's the case, then forget it. This world within a world itself is a treasure. Notify the Universe Mercenary Alliance, Black Dragon Mountain Division. This world of thunder will no longer be a testing world. I need to properly modify this world within a world. This world within a world can completely become a secret training ground for our alliance." "Yes, Lord," the 2 Domain Lords said respectfully. The black-clothed Sector Lord floated in the air and suddenly extended his hands. Rumble, immediately the skies darkened, that powerful universe origin energy gushed out from the foundations of the world within a world unceasingly. This world within a world began a huge transformation. Such a transformation could only be done by a Sector Lord. Songlan Star, ancient city, the top floor of that over 8,000 m tall skyscraper. Hargray and Jiang Tianchen, the 2 Sector Lords sat facing each other. "Jiang Tianchen, this is what you wanted." Hargray casually tossed it out. A spatial ring that was reflecting rays of light arced through the air and landed opposite Jiang Tianchen. Jiang Tianchen smiled and grabbed it. "Hargray, you're indeed straightforward. This inheritance crystal ball's last password is for you." Jiang Tianchen immediately used the virtual universe network to send a mail to Hargray. Hargray immediately received the message and knew the last password. As a sector lord, splitting a bit of his consciousness to handle such a matter was indeed very easy. You wouldn't lie to me about the password, right? Hargray's eyes lifted and he glanced at Jiang Tianchen. I'm not that shameless. Jiang Tianchen laughed indifferently. Hargray, you can go to the Universe First Bank right now and see if you can retrieve the stored inheritance crystal ball. Hargray immediately stood up. Who? He disappeared into thin air from the hall. Within a second, in a beautiful city on the other side of Tsanglan Star, the Universe First Bank's building was extremely eye-catching. Hargray had already entered. 3-star client? The Universe First Bank, the branch manager of Tsanglan Star, was a 3-eyed hunchbacked old man with a carapace on his back. When he found out through the bank's AI system that a 3-star client had arrived, this branch manager hurriedly rushed to the first-floor hall to welcome him. After a while, the building's 19th floor hall. Lord Hargray. The manager bowed respectfully. This manager was able to become the manager of such an important planet like Tsanglan Star. His authority was very high. The highest authority allowed him to receive 3-star clients. I want to retrieve a storage item, Hargray said coldly. Retrieve a storage item? The manager was slightly suspicious. This Hargray had never stored a storage item here before, right? It's an item from 10 million years ago, Hargray added. Lord Hargray, an item from 10 million years ago must have been transported to the Ganwu Universe Department for safekeeping. The manager smiled. As long as Lord Hargray says your account number and password, everything will be successful. We will send the item from the Ganwu Universe country to the client's designated location as soon as possible. Hargray slightly nodded. The account number is, Hargray quickly said his account number. This account number is extremely confidential. It requires 3 passwords. The manager helped to key in the password on the side. The first password is pass. The manager said on the side. The second password is, Hargray continued, pass. The third password is pass. The manager said, D. The manager smiled at Hargray. Lord Hargray, you only need a moment. The bank's main processing system will quickly give you an accurate message. However, according to my experience, sending the item from the Ganwu Universe Department will take about a month. Hargray held his breath, extremely excited. To get the inheritance crystal ball this time, he had spent a lot of time and energy, especially to get the last password. He had lost a lot of his treasures to Jiang Tianchen. The manager looked at the screen on the side. His face changed. What's wrong? Hargray looked at him. Lord Hargray, I think there's no need to send the item from the Ganwu Universe Department. The manager looked at him. Hargray frowned. The item stored here is a recording. The manager said. You can leave. Hargray waved his hand. Yes. The manager left the room. Hargray stood in front of the screen. A recording appeared on the screen. Hargray's face darkened. He tapped the screen. Instantly the recording that had been stored for 10 million years started playing. I'm very happy to inform you, you have been tricked by me. Ha ha, how is it you're pissed? Did you sacrifice a lot for the 3 passwords? Ha ha, I definitely won't give these 3 passwords to the same side, letting you guys fight for it. In the end it'll all be for naught. Ha ha ha, Hargray gritted his teeth so hard that they made a hissing sound. Pung! Hargray waved his hand, smashing the screen in front of him into pieces. 3-star customer, you've destroyed my bank's item. Please compensate according to the price my bank provide. An electronic voice resounded in the room. Hargray's face twitched in anger. Go die! Hargray suddenly exploded. His powerful aura spread out, the items in the hall all exploded, large amounts of broken pieces flew everywhere, dust filled the air. Where is the inheritance crystal ball? Amidst the dust, Hargray clenched his teeth. P.S. Chapter 6 Sector Lord World has ended. Chapter 7 about to begin. Chapter 368. So far, there were 6 chapters in this book, of which, One Night of Awakening, War God Luo Feng, 50,000-Year Corpse, and Life Nirvana belonged to the Earth Scroll. And the 5th chapter, Universe Adventurer, was Luo Feng's first contact with the universe. The 6th chapter, Sector Lord World, was where Luo Feng had built a solid foundation. It could be considered a small asset. After all, he had wealth comparable to a sector lord. He had enough capital. The 7th chapter, Luo Feng had officially begun his rise in the universe. Kaka, it will be even more exciting next. Today, Tomato will be going through the plot outline of Chapter 7. I won't be updating it today. I will officially start the Chapter 7 update tomorrow. Chapter 369. Song Lan Star's World Within a World Treasure Trove caused the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field to become restless. Have you heard, recently there was a star-level idiot on Luo Na planet preparing to sell an astronomical treasure. After which a universe-level warrior snatched it away. However, in the next moment, that universe-level warrior not only lost his life because of this treasure, his entire family was razed to the ground. A universe-level warrior lost his life? His entire family was razed to the ground? What treasure was it? It's said that a while ago, Song Lan Star discovered a world within a world. This astronomical treasure was one of the treasures from that world within a world. The treasures of a world within a world. That was something that caused the 4 great organizations and the 2 sacred lands to fight over. Any one of them would be worth tens of thousands of life planets. Tens of thousands of life planets? My God, how high is that? Anyway, right now in the entire Black Dragon Mountain star field, many big and small families, organizations, are all paying close attention. The moment they discover anyone preparing to sell an astronomical treasure, they'll snatch it away. These astronomical treasures, they're really troublesome. Troublesome, countless people want to get their hands on them. Crazy. The big and small families and organizations of the Black Dragon Mountain star field were all going crazy. One had to know that the pinnacle of power in the Black Dragon Mountain star field, the 16 families, were only created by 16 sector lords. This meant in the Black Dragon Mountain star field, the sector lord powers were already at the pinnacle. The other big and small organizations, just having a domain lord was already not bad. And the treasures of a world within a world, any one of them, had shocking attraction to the domain lords. Then, because the occasional 1 or 2 treasures that would cause many powers to be envious, it wasn't strange. Those star levels, they don't have any good channels. The moment they want to sell their treasures, they'll be easily discovered. Keep a close eye on them. Keep a close eye on all the main planets of the Black Dragon Mountain star field. The moment anyone wants to sell an astronomical treasure, report to me immediately. Yes, Chairman. Treasures were troublesome. Those without the power or channels to sell their treasures, acquiring them would instead be a disaster. And these treasures were already so valuable, even a universe-level warrior could lose his life if he acquired them. Within the Dark Universe, Luo Feng's team's universe ship was still advancing. It was already the 12th day of flight. They still needed about 9 more days to reach Earth. They didn't know that there were star-state adventurers in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield selling priceless treasures. Universe ship resting cabin. The layout of the resting cabin was similar to that of a study room. There were tables and chairs, and there was even a very comfortable bed at the very edge. It's time to deal with these treasures. These treasures are simply too troublesome. Luo Feng sat in his chair, tapping on the laptop on his desk. This laptop was even made on Earth. No choice, Luo Feng was used to using such outdated gadget. The treasures I've exchanged, plus the ones I stole from the Cloud Contact Vine, a total of 48. 48 treasures. Some were cheaper than the Air Cutter Saber, and some were more expensive. A single Void Cutter Saber was enough to cause the Region Lord, Mingyu, to be extremely excited to the extent that it was enough to cause a realm lord to purchase it. If these 48 treasures were added together, it would probably be comparable to the wealth of a sector lord. As for the dead sector lord Kabu, he was already comparable to a poor undying. And out of the entire 312 treasures, Luo Feng had acquired 49, one was given to Mingyu. One could see how much Luo Feng had gained this time. Connect to the virtual universe network. Luo Feng closed his eyes, his consciousness swiftly connecting to the virtual universe network. Virtual universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-Star Bay. When Luo Feng appeared in front of his house, Luo Hua, who was taking a stroll to relax, his eyes gleamed, shouting, "Big brother!" "Luo Hua, what's the matter?" Luo Feng smiled at his brother. "I've been looking for you for a long time, but I just couldn't find you." Luo Hua pulled Luo Feng. "Big brother, sit here, I have something very important to tell you." Luo Feng sat down, looking curiously at his brother. "It's like this," Luo Hua explained. "Earth's 5 big countries are discussing, they all really want to enter the universe and interact with the other humans in the universe. Can't they enter the virtual universe?" Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. "In the virtual universe, they can interact with the other humans in the universe." "No, they want to interact in reality," Luo Hua said. "In reality?" Luo Feng creased his eyebrows even more. Luo Hua saw the situation and said helplessly, "Big brother, don't you understand the various countries on Earth? At the start, they were satisfied with being able to enter the virtual universe, but as time passes, their ambitions have grown. This ambition is uncontrollable. If you let them enter the universe now, I'm afraid they'll have even higher demands in the future." Man's ambitions were endless. With something good, they would want something even better. "Alright, promise them," Luo Feng emphasized. "You promise them?" Luo Hua stared wide-eyed in shock. "Right." Luo Feng nodded. "Even though Earth is very safe, however, we can't always let the humans of Earth stay on Earth. It's time for them to interact with the universe. Only by letting them suffer a little, experiencing some setbacks, will they wake up. Only then will they know how to survive in the universe." Luo Hua asked curiously, "But big brother, which planet will the humans of Earth go to? A large-scale interstellar migration, will the planet management agencies agree? If the governments don't agree, I'll just buy a planet." Luo Feng laughed. "What's more, I have 100 life planets under my name, with my approval as the leader. The interstellar migration will be very easy." 100? Luo Hua stared wide-eyed. "Big brother, I'll tell you later." Luo Feng smiled as he stood up. "As for the humans of Earth wanting to migrate and go into the universe, I'll talk to the 5 countries about it later. Let's end it here for today, I still have some matters to attend to." Luo Hua stood up too. Mail. Luo Hua opened the mail suspiciously. It was a notification from the bank, informing him that his account balance had increased by 4 billion universe dollars. 4 billion universe dollars? Luo Hua was shocked. "This is all yours, work hard." Luo Feng's voice resounded from afar. Luo Hua looked up. The distant Luo Feng was already about to leave the 9-Star Bay district, looking at his big brother's back. Luo Hua was shocked. "What has my big brother been doing these past few days? How did he get 4 billion universe dollars for me in a blink of an eye? This is even more expensive than the Ganwu dollars." At the entrance of the 9-Star Bay district, Luo Feng waved towards the sky. Immediately a carriage pulled by a winged Pegasus descended from the sky. There was a coachman on the carriage. Luo Feng immediately jumped into the back seat. "Sir, where to?" the coachman asked. "To the Universe Galaxy Bank," Luo Feng said. Immediately the Pegasus wings flapped, the carriage swiftly rose into the sky, flying at a shocking speed. Within the carriage, there was only a slight breeze. In the virtual universe, long distances usually relied on fixed teleportation points, short distances relied on these Pegasus pulling carriages. because everyone in the virtual universe only had a body constitution comparable to a student level 4, hence they couldn't fly, their speed wasn't fast enough, and using a Pegasus was much faster. Of course, riding a Pegasus required money. How beautiful! Sitting in the Pegasus carriage, looking down at the huge Black Dragon Mountain Island, it was indeed a majestic sight. What is that? Luo Feng was shocked as he pointed towards the sky. In the clouds in the sky there was a floating city, because this floating city was simply too high. If it was on the ground, one wouldn't even be able to see it with the naked eye. Only when one sat in the carriage and flew even higher, would one be able to see the city within the cloud. Floating city. The coachman laughed. Our Black Dragon Mountain Island's floating city. Every island, every continent has a floating city. Floating city? Luo Feng was shocked. Normally only the important people, or at least universe-level warriors, have the right to enter the floating city. The coachman controlled the Pegasus, smiling as he explained to Luo Feng, "Sir, we've arrived at the Universe Galaxy Bank." Who? The Pegasus rushed downwards, its wings flapping slightly, its 4 hooves stepping on space, swiftly landing in front of the Universe Galaxy Bank. "Thanks." Luo Feng smiled as he got off the carriage. The carriage rushed into the sky and swiftly left. As for the carriage fee, it was deducted from his personal account. Virtual Universe Black Dragon Mountain Island, Universe Galaxy Bank. Welcome. Luo Feng entered the bank, following the self-service passageway beside the bank, entering a self-service room. Entering the sealed room. "Please enter your account number." The electronic voice resounded. 8492, 8593, WXH, 8528, 5285, 032. Luo Feng swiftly entered. This was his teacher's 5-star account. Immediately the room's signal scanned Luo Feng. As Luo Feng had previously withdrawn money from Jade Rock Star, he had already left some basic information. Password entered correct. User confirmed. Rumble. What was originally a normal room immediately became an incomparably luxurious room, and an incredibly beautiful female AI stood beside, extremely respectful. "Respected 5-star customer, how do you do? I am 008231 AI at your service. How do you do?" Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the female AI, happy within. Everything was exactly as Babata had said. As he had successfully opened the 5-star account, he had already been confirmed as a 5-star customer by the Universe Galaxy Bank. One had to know. Luo Feng had acquired 20 billion universe dollars through Mingyu. This was comparable to many domain lords' entire wealth. However, he was only confirmed as a 2-star customer. 5-star customer, just how respected was that? This Universe Galaxy Bank, for the 5-star customers, had many very good services. Of course, services required money. "I need to get rid of some items." Luo Feng looked at the female AI before him. The female AI bowed and smiled. "Respected 5-star customer, our Universe Galaxy Bank has an item selling service. Our bank has very strong sales channels in all the universe countries in the vast universe. We can get your items sold in a very short period of time. We only need to collect 1/1000 of the transaction fee." Luo Feng smiled. This was the treatment of a 5-star customer, selling an incomparably hot treasure. It was just that simple. Chapter 370. Other than the item selling service, our Universe Galaxy Bank also has an item purchasing service. However, the purchasing price is based on the standard price. The female AI's voice was clear and melodious, smiling, incomparably respectful. "I choose the item selling service," Luo Feng said. Even though the item selling required a 1/1000 processing fee, the selling price was usually not bad. Even with a 1/1000 processing fee, the final price was still much higher than the bank's direct purchasing price. With the experienced Babata by his side, Luo Feng wouldn't lose out in this aspect. "These are the 48 items I need to sell." Luo Feng swiftly used his virtual assistant Babata, sending the detailed information of the 48 treasures to the female AI before him. 48 items. Our Universe Galaxy Bank can immediately sell them in the virtual universe's various universe countries' auctions. The female AI smiled. Please confirm the location and time for your 48 items to be delivered to our bank. Ganwu Star Region, Black Dragon Mountain Star Field, Milky Ways by Lon Star. Luo Feng reported the location and time. The estimated time was 8 days later when he would reach by Lon Star. Time and location confirmed. The female AI smiled. Please sign the selling documents. A contract floated before Luo Feng. The contract was very detailed, including the rights and responsibilities of both parties, and the terms of breaking the contract, etc. The selling documents have been signed. The female AI smiled. Respected 5-star customer, I wonder if there's anything else I can help you with. There's nothing else. Luo Feng smiled and stood up, turning to walk towards the door, pulling it open and walking out. Rumble. The luxurious room immediately disappeared, returning to its normal sealed self-service room. 5-star customers, as the Universe Galaxy Bank's most important customers, the bank prepared many services for these customers. However, since it was a service, it naturally required money. However, in the universe, without a certain channel, there were some things that couldn't be done even with money. If he sold the 48 treasures, if he sold them in the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, it would definitely cause a huge wave. However, through the Universe Galaxy Bank, selling them in the various universe countries, it wouldn't even cause a small wave. The 48 treasures were probably worth about 10% or 20% of Sector Lord Kabu's wealth. But Sector Lord Kabu, compared to the UNMO planet's master, was worlds apart. After 7 months, Luo Feng and the others returned to Bailon Star, this life planet that was very close to Earth. Back then Luo Feng and the others spent 3 months in the world of thunder. In the world within a world, they first mined for universe crystals and thunderstones, spending a month, and then continued battling for a month and a half. If the time taken to return to Tsang Lan Star from the world within a world, and return to Earth from Tsang Lan Star, about 7 months. Year 2063 April, Luo Feng and the others left Earth. China time, year 2063, November 16th, 1:16 p.m. in the afternoon, the universe ship entered Bailon Star. Within the ship control room, Luo Feng and the other two looked down at the warehouse base. Before the warehouse was an incredibly beautiful universe ship with the Universe Galaxy Bank logo. This universe ship was shaped like a sword, giving off a dreamlike feeling. Third brother, are those treasures that easy to trade? Thunder God looked at the spacecraft below. Right, it's that simple, I'll just hand the treasure over to him. Luo Feng smiled. They won't kill and steal, right? Thunder God looked uneasily at the ship below. Ha! Luo Feng laughed loudly. Second brother, this is the Universe Galaxy Bank, and look at this ship, it's an E-grade ship. This represents wealth and power. Like the Universe Galaxy Bank, the Universe First Bank, these two super banks, they value their reputation the most. Compared to our 48 treasures, treasures that are thousands to tens of thousands of times more valuable, even the Universe Galaxy Bank wouldn't be moved. Don't be so petty. What's more, when I hand over the goods, the scene will be monitored by the ship's bank AI system. The internal staff of the bank won't dare kill and steal. Luo Feng smiled. The moment they go against it, they'll explode with a purring. While they were talking, the ship landed on the ground. Hua! The cabin door opened. Luo Feng, Hong, Thunder God and Ao Gu all jumped out, immediately flying towards the distant, incomparably dreamy ship. Outside the cabin door of the sword-shaped ship stood 3 men dressed in the Galaxy Bank uniform. One of them was a domain lord, the other 2 were universe levels. Sir, please hand over your goods. The domain lord smiled humbly and courteously, even though he could tell with a glance that the people before him were all star levels. However, the level of this transaction was extremely high, and his every move was being recorded by the bank's AI system, hence he had to follow the bank's requirements. Humble and courteous, he had to smile. These are the goods. Luo Feng handed over a space ring. Chi. A dreamy light shot into the space ring from the universe ship. After a while a voice resounded. Goods confirmed. Sir, the transaction is a success. Thank you for your support of our Universe Galaxy Bank. The Domain Lord bowed, his face couldn't help but twitch. A Domain Lord bowing to a few star levels? Haha, then I won't send you off, we'll be leaving first. Luo Feng laughed loudly, turning and leaving. The Domain Lord and the 2 universe levels returned to the ship. The 3 of them had weird expressions on their faces. A few star levels actually came to trade with us. That's too funny. I even had to bow to them earlier. Just thinking about it makes me uncomfortable. The 2 universe levels were extremely unhappy, the Domain Lord beside, his green eyebrow creased. Our service level is very high, usually we trade with Undyings. Occasionally we trade with Sector Lords. This time we actually met a star-level punk. He could be some superfamily or some absolute warrior's pampered disciple. The other 2 universe levels nodded. Right. Their team's customers were usually very high. They were all either 4 or 5-star customers, and under normal circumstances, 4-star customers were usually Undyings, or some extremely lucky Sector Lords. As for 5-star customers, those were absolute beings that could make countless galaxies tremble. It's fine if you complain, but don't leak any information about the customers, otherwise the bank will deal with you. Don't blame me for not reminding you. The green-haired Domain Lord ordered. Yes, Lord. The 2 universe levels replied respectfully. After Luo Feng and the others finished their trade on Bylon Star, they sat in a ship and left Bylon Star, going through universe travel, heading back home, Earth. Within the ship's control room. Ha ha, the Domain Lord bowing to us? Thunder God laughed proudly. It's unbelievable. Hong exclaimed. Big brother, second brother. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at Hong and Thunder God. The payment has been received, everything will be distributed according to the old rules. Stop. Thunder God shook his head. I don't want it anymore. You gave me 5 thunder techniques. Those 5 techniques themselves cost a lot of thunderstones. It's worth about 20%. What's more, within these 5 techniques, one of them has a living AI, that old Wu. He allowed me to receive Sector Lord Kabu's inheritance. Accurately speaking, my gains are the biggest. Don't give it to me. Since the second brother has received Sector Lord Kabu's inheritance. Hong smiled. That Sector Lord must have prepared everything for him. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. He had received his teacher's inheritance. His teacher had split his savings into 3 accounts for himself. His second brother Thunder God probably received quite a bit. Big brother. Luo Feng looked at Hong. I have enough money if you want to give it to me. Buy me a life fruit later. Hong said, 1 life fruit, it's worth about 20%. Life fruit? Luo Feng nodded. The life fruit in the world within a world's exchange list, even though it only required 800,000 thunderstones. In reality, in the outside world, the life fruit was hard to buy. Even if one wanted to, the price would be extremely shocking. Even with 20% of his wealth, it would be hard to say if he could buy a life fruit. All right. Luo Feng nodded. Then I'll first enter the Virtual Universe network. Virtual Universe, Black Dragon Mountain Island 9-star Bay. Luo Feng's study, the screen was before him. So many mail. Luo Feng sat in his chair, opening the first mail. Respected customer, how are you? Your consciousness-bound account in our bank has just received a remittance of 1,230 billion universe credit. Your account balance has reached the limit of 10 mixed elements. Mixed elements are a high-level unit. Each mixed element is equivalent to 1 trillion universe credits. It has automatically been upgraded to a 3-star account. You have automatically become a respected 3-star customer of the Universe Galaxy Bank. As a star customer, you have many special rights. The mail has a list of special rights and explanations. Universe Galaxy Bank. This first mail was the mail from the transfer. Over 110,000 billion? Luo Feng held his breath as he read. 110,000 billion universe dollars. What kind of concept was that? Normally in the universe, a galaxy's worth was between 100 billion, 1 trillion universe dollars. That meant to say, Luo Feng's wealth was equivalent to tens of galaxies. And a sector lord warrior would normally be able to get a galaxy after joining an empire. Of course, if a sector lord put in the effort, getting a few galaxies wouldn't be hard. 110,000 billion universe dollars was equivalent to tens of galaxies. It definitely belonged to the level of a sector lord warrior's wealth. In the universe, there are 2 types of currency. One is universe crystals, universe dollars. That's formed from a sector lord's condensation of the universe's energy. The second is undying crystals, undying coins. They are formed by undying beings. They contain the universe origin laws, a strange energy crystallization. They're even more valuable. However, universe dollars are considered the universe's currency. As for the undying crystals, they're considered strategic reserves. Whether it's the human race or other races, nobody is willing to sell them. Babata's voice resounded in Luo Feng's mind. As for the mixed element unit, it's considered a large unit used by the absolute warriors when they trade. Luo Feng blinked twice. In an instant, he had become a millionaire with tens of galaxies. Don't get excited, this bit of wealth doesn't mean much in the vast universe. You're just a 3-star customer. In the vast universe, you're just a small shrimp, tens of galaxies? You can barely be considered well off. Babata said, work hard and train. When you become a domain lord and inherit your teacher's 5-star account, then you'll be awesome. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Tonight, I'll prepare. Tomorrow's target is 4 chapters. Work hard to pay back the debt. Chapter 371. Alright, I'll just be a little. Luo Feng smiled and continued to look at the screen. On the screen, including the ones he had seen before, there were a total of 7 messages, of which the first 5 were from the Universe Galaxy Bank, the 6th from the Virtual Universe Company, and the 7th from the Battleaxe Coliseum. Luo Feng's finger gently tapped on the screen and opened the second message. Respected customer, how do you do? Do you often store large amounts of funds in your account and withdraw them when you need them? I have to warn you, this is a very inefficient way of operating your funds. As long as you hand over your funds to us to help you operate them, you will receive an endless stream of profits. We first guarantee that you will never lose money. As for the yearly profit rate, according to the market, it varies. The highest we've ever allowed a user to earn over 100%. Yes. As long as you hand over 10 trillion universe dollars to us to manage, in a year, it can very well become 20 trillion universe dollars. Even in the worst-case scenario, we can guarantee that you won't lose money. The following are a few random results from our investment department. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. He extended his finger and gently opened the third message. Respected customer, how do you do? Our team has the pinnacle of planet management experience in the universe. Do you have a large number of planets, however, they don't give you enough profits? As long as you hand over your planets to us to manage, we will nurture the most elite warriors for you, the most loyal warriors. At the same time, the earning efficiency of each planet will greatly increase. Also, we can help you build a religion, or build a strong and stable family, religion model, family model, dynasty model, academy model. You can choose any mode and let us manage your planet territory. Luo Feng finished reading the first 5 messages in one breath. The second is from the Universe Galaxy Bank's investment department. They want me to hand over my money to them for financial investments. The third is for my services. They want me to spend money and they will help me manage my planet, helping me nurture incomparably loyal subordinate. They're also split into religion model, family model, etc. The fourth still wants me to spend money to help with investments. The returns are higher, the risks are higher too. The fifth is specially for me to enjoy, providing various services. Luo Feng shook his head. Out of the 5 emails, 2 of them were about helping with financial investments. One of them was guaranteed to not lose money, while the second had uncertain returns. And according to what he understood from his little brother, the world of financial investments in the universe was dark. The investment departments under the 2 super banks absorbed money from normal investors, forming a huge amount of funds to stir up trouble. Usually, they would use the money of ordinary investors to carry the palanquin for their own exclusive accounts. Luo Feng, the 6th and 7th male, look, they are very important. Babata's voice resounded. Ah! Luo Feng was shocked. Very important? The 6th was from the Virtual Universe Company. Luo Feng extended his finger and opened the 6th mail. Hello. From the moment you become a 3-star client, you have the right to step into the Ganwu auction. And our Virtual Universe Company's auctions will give them the chance to purchase many precious items. The Ganwu auction is held once every 3 years. The lowest requirement to participate in the auction is to be a 3-star customer of the Universe First Bank, Universe Galaxy Bank. The next Ganwu auction will be held in 2 years. For the details of the auction, please look at the attachment of this mail. Virtual Universe Company. Luo Feng's expression was serious as he looked at the screen before him. This Ganwu auction's requirements were indeed high. The lowest requirement to participate was to be a 3-star customer of the 2 super banks. As for 3-star customers, they were usually sector lord experts and some rich and powerful people with superpowers. For a group of sector lord warriors to participate in the auction, Luo Feng, in this Ganwu auction, there will be many incomparably precious treasures, like the life fruit or some precious level 5 weapons that only undying warriors can create, and many other restricted level weapons. These can all be seen in this auction. To a strong warrior, this auction is very important. Babata reminded, you can only rely on this auction to buy many treasures. Luo Feng nodded. Of course, this auction is a beginner auction. The auctions held by the Virtual Universe Company are split into beginner auctions, middle auctions and high-level auctions. Beginner auctions, the lowest requirement to participate is to be a 3-star customer. Normal 3-star customers are all sector lord warriors. Middle-level auctions, the lowest requirement to participate is to be a 4-star customer. Normal 4-star customers are all undying beings. Hence, middle-level auctions are auctions that normal undying beings participate in. Every treasure auctioned. I'm afraid your entire fortune might not even be enough to buy a single treasure. High-level auctions, the lowest requirement is to be a 5-star customer. Oh, these auctions, the people who participate, are all absolute tycoons of the large organizations and powers, or the rulers of the Ganwu Universe Country and other universe countries, or even some absolute warriors amongst the lone undying. In these high-level auctions, the items auctioned are all shockingly expensive. However, a high-level auction, just the preparation alone would take many years. The items auctioned in these high-level auctions are usually obtained by undying beings risking their lives. Some risking their lives yet couldn't obtain them, like your teacher. Luo Feng was stunned. His teacher, the master of the UNMO planet, seemed to have lost his life because of a certain treasure. 3-star customers in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield are very impressive. However, in the entire universe, they're average. And for the auctions, you can only participate in the local auctions. You can only participate in the Ganwu auction. You don't have the qualifications to participate in the auctions of the other universe countries. Babata said. Luo Feng nodded. These auctions, the standards were too high. People without status wouldn't even have heard of them before. Even the lowest requirement for the basic level auctions was a 3-star customer. The next Ganwu auction will be in 2 years and 1 month. Luo Feng anticipated within these auctions. He definitely had to participate. Luo Feng sat in his study, reading through the introduction of the auction. He was even more excited. These auctions indeed had many incomparably rare and precious items. This last mail is from the Battleaxe Colosseum? Luo Feng extended his finger, curiously opening it. This mail was a notification for the VIP membership. When he became a 3-star customer, he automatically became a bronze VIP member of the Battleaxe Colosseum. He could watch the Battleaxe Colosseum's battles for free. Battleaxe Colosseum? Is a membership very important? Luo Feng asked curiously. The membership itself isn't important, but the Battleaxe Colosseum's battles are still very important. On Luo Feng's shoulder, the fist-sized little demon emphasized, every battle held by the Battleaxe Colosseum is a life and death battle. At least one side has to die for the battle to end. Hence, these battles are very worth watching. It's also very beneficial for training and comprehension. Ah! Luo Feng nodded. This membership giveaway mail had an attachment. It was a list of the recent battles. Luo Feng casually opened it. The recent 7 days of life and death battles? A total of 6,201. Luo Feng stared wide-eyed. There are 6,118 universe-level life and death battles, 82 domain lord level life and death battles, and 1 sector lord life and death battle. Luo Feng took in a deep cold breath. In just 7 days there were so many strong life and death battles? There was even a sector lord life and death battle? Don't be surprised, the Battleaxe Colosseum covers every universe country. A universe country is so big that it can be said to be boundless. With all the universe countries added up, it's very normal to have so many life and death battles in the 7 days. Babata explained, look, among these 6,201 life and death battles, there are only 3 that belong to the Ganwu universe country. On the attachment there were 6,118 universe-level life and death battles, and they were arranged according to the number of people watching them. The most watched life and death battle, both were Universe Level 6. Universe Level 6, there's actually so many people watching? Luo Feng curiously opened this battle and looked at the details. Both sides came from the Desolate Peak Universe country. One side was called Genji from the Lu Xiu clan. The other side was called Hanks, a slave trader's servant. Genji was born on the Lu Xiu planet. Lu Xiu planet was a planet with extremely harsh living conditions. There were many monsters on the planet. Many of the weaker Lu Xiu clansmen were killed by the monsters. Only the strong could survive. And the Lu Xiu clan genius Genji very quickly rose from Lu Xiu planet, reaching the Star Traveler level and even the Star level, attracting the attention of the leader of Lu Xiu planet. Genji became an elite soldier under the leader of the planet. Genji worked hard and his position rose higher and higher, after which the leader gave Lu Xiu planet to Genji. Genji became the leader of Lu Xiu planet, becoming the hero of the Lu Xiu clan. However, after that, the leader of the planet angered a huge enemy and was attacked. Many of the planets under the leader, including this Lu Xiu planet, were stolen and many of the Lu Xiu clansmen were sold as slaves. After Genji worked hard to reach the universe level, he sold himself to the Battleaxe Colosseum. The Battleaxe Colosseum stepped in and bought Lu Xiu planet from the leader. And Genji had to experience 1,000 battles in the Battleaxe Colosseum. If he didn't die, he would regain his freedom. Hanks lived on a very normal planet, living a normal life. However, many youths on this planet, including the young Hanks, were captured by a slave trader team. After the slave traders captured many slaves, they began to undergo hellish training. Some of the failures were sold as slaves, while the elites continued to train. Hanks was one of the elite. Reaching the star level and even breaking through to the universe level, Only because he was implanted with the microchip, Hanks was only a slave. However, later on, his battle strength was truly strong, and it wasn't worth it to be sold as a universe-level slave. Hence, the slave trader signed a contract with him. As long as he could survive 1,000 battles in the Battleaxe Coliseum, he would regain his freedom, because in the Battleaxe Coliseum, the longer one lived, the more shocking the appearance fee. This was much more profitable than selling slaves. The slave trader was very clear: only when the slave truly desired and was truly willing would he be able to explode with his strongest battle strength in the battles. Hence, he gave him the contract to regain his freedom after 1,000 battles. Genji, 691 wins. Hanks, 821 wins. Both Universe Level 6. This battle was the most watched battle in the past 7 days, out of the over 6,000 Universe-level battles in the Battleaxe Coliseum. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 372. Genji Fighter Domain Level 5. Hanks Spirit Reader Controller Domain Level 4. To be able to reach Domain Level 4 and 5 at Universe Level 6, these two could be considered geniuses. The most important thing was, these two had extremely high battle talents. Many other Domain Level 4, 5 and even 6 geniuses had died at their hands. 691 wins, 821 wins. These two were definitely the true veterans of the Battleaxe Coliseum. These two. Luo Feng sighed within. Looking at these two's history, Genji was doing it for his home race. Hanks was a slave being squeezed by a slave trader. However, one of them would definitely die. This battle, I definitely have to watch. Luo Feng carefully looked at the screen's introduction. 1 hour. A universe ship, using universe travel, flying from Bylon Star to Earth. It took about 8 hours. Luo Feng immediately pulled Hong and Thunder God over to watch the battle together. Battleaxe Coliseum, one of the 5 great leviathans of humanity in the universe. Within the virtual universe network, there was a specially open space. This space had an incredibly wide river that flowed through the entire space. The water's buoyancy was shocking. On this endless river were many floating islands. Every island was a coliseum. Island 08921. This was an island covered in snow. On the island's most majestic structure was that huge coliseum. In the center of the coliseum was an incredibly vast empty space. All around it were densely packed seats. The second, third and fourth levels of the coliseum were all private rooms. Only members could enter the private room. As for ordinary spectators, they could only watch the battle from the densely packed auditorium. I like Genji, his blade work is really powerful. Every time I see it, I feel like I'm in a dream, filled with life energy. He will definitely win. Betting on Genji? Genji's odds are very low. What's there to be afraid of? Genji's odds are 1, 31, Hanks is 1, 2. 68, from the Battleaxe Coliseum's official odds. Obviously the Battleaxe Coliseum thinks Genji will win. I'm not afraid of the odds. As long as I can earn money, that's enough. I've already made a lot of money betting on Genji. I'll bet on him again this time. If I bet on Hanks, I might be able to make a comeback. I bet 600,000 universe dollars. Only 600,000 universe dollars. I'll bet 2 million universe dollars on Genji to win. I'll bet 1 million universe credits, just for fun. 3 orcs with green horns on their heads were dressed luxuriously, and they were sitting in the audience seats and laughing as they discussed. Suddenly, a silver-haired handsome man carrying a child walked towards the stairs at the side of the corridor. Step, step, step. He quickly went up the stairs. Upstairs? The bank account should be at least 3-star. Who is that silver-haired man? I don't know. Us 3 brothers only know people from our own starfield. In this place, many of the people that come are not even from the same universe country as us. Who knows him? The 3 green-horned orcs discussed among themselves. A moment later, another 5 people went upstairs together. As the live broadcast of the duel began, the number of people in the dojo grew. The first level was filled to the brim with spectators, more than half of the seats were filled. There were at least 100,000 people, and there were even quite a few who went upstairs. To be able to go to the private rooms upstairs, one had to be at least a 3-star bank customer or even higher. Look at those 3 punks, those curious gazes, that aura. One look and you can tell they're punks from some random corner who haven't seen the world. I agree with Big Brother. From my experience interacting with people all day, these 3's aura are obviously lacking. They're not big figures. I agree too. The 3 green-horned orcs looked at the 3 youths walking side by side in the corridor, not too far away. They were laughing and chatting, occasionally curiously looking at the structure of the dojo. The 3 of them went upstairs. The 3 green-horned orcs stared wide-eyed. They actually made a mistake. 3-star customer? What the hell? I actually made a mistake. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God swiftly went upstairs. Following the number of the private rooms, they entered one of the private rooms. As members, they had their own private rooms. Members could bring their own family, friends and servants to watch the battles. As for how many people they brought, it was up to the members. However, the private rooms were only so big, the more people they brought, the more cramped it got. Third brother, this Battle Axe dojo sure is generous. I saw before, to watch such a broadcast, the entrance fee is very expensive. Members can actually watch for free. Thunder God sighed, and when we walked into the dojo earlier, those densely packed people, from their discussions, it seemed like every single one of them was betting a few $100,000 universe dollars, even a few million universe dollars. They're really rich. Hong smiled. Those who can come here, even the spectators on the first level, most of them have many planet territories. HM. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Right, 1 trillion black dragon dollars is equivalent to 300,000 universe dollars. In other words, those people had casually placed their bets on a few or even dozens of planets. In their respective starfields, they're definitely people with status. No matter how much status they had, they still weren't considered members. To be a member of the Battle Axe Dojo, the lowest requirement was to be a 3-star bank customer. Normally only sector lords would have such a status, like the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield. Even though the heads of the 16 families were all sector lords, they might not all be 3-star customers. Ladies and gentlemen from the various universe countries, this life and death battle is about to begin. Everyone please hurry and place your bets, there's not much time left. Genji's victory, the odds are 1-1. If Hax wins, the payout is 1-2. If both sides die together, the payout is 1-81, which is 81 times the current payout. In a battle between powerhouses of similar strength, it is very likely that both sides will die together. A loud voice, standard universe language, resounded in the spectators' ears. There's only 5 minutes left until the betting deadline, everyone please hurry. Within the private room. First time here, you should bet. Thunder God smiled. Big brother, third brother, who are you guys prepared to bet on? I'll bet on Hanks, Hong said solemnly. Looking at him, I'm reminded of back when I was young and was trained as a killer. This Hank's suffering is 1,000,000 times worse than mine. The slave trader's hellish exploitation, I believe, he should be able to win. I'll bet on him. 100 million universe dollars. 100 million? Luo Feng looked shocked at Hong. How much money Hong had, Luo Feng was very clear. He had given Hong 4 billion universe dollars before, and with the universe crystals, Hong had over 1 billion universe crystals too. In terms of wealth, Hong only had over 5 billion universe dollars. Throwing 100 million at once, it seemed like it had really struck a chord. I choose Genji, 100 million universe dollars. I feel his chances of winning are higher. Thunder God said, Third brother, what about you? Me? Luo Feng looked through the private room's window. At the center of the huge dojo, On the floating screen was the detailed information of the two opponents. That Hanks was incomparably cold, almost as though he had walked out from hell. Genji, his eyes were filled with determination, with a sense of anticipation, his face always carrying a smile. I choose him, Genji, Luo Feng said, 100 million universe dollars too. Not knowing why, looking at Genji, thinking of this warrior's struggle for his home race, to let his home planet Lu Xiu regain its freedom, to let his own race no longer be enslaved, when he couldn't deal with the enemy, he even chose to sell himself to the Battle Axe Dojo, letting them act for him. Luo Feng felt a sense of resonance. He too was under heavy pressure. The threat of the Newland Shan family still hadn't been eliminated. However, he was different from Genji, he had many more trump cards. I hope you succeed and survive through the 1,000 battles. Luo Feng thought within. Virtual Universe, Dojo 08921. Betting has ended. Ladies and gentlemen, this life and death battle has begun. The two sides of this life and death battle are the fighter Genji and the spirit reader controller Hank. They are both Universe Level 6. The location of this life and death battle is within the Desolate Peak Universe country's Red Bird star field, a normal desolate planet. Right now, we'll begin the live broadcast. Following the announcer's voice, the dojo immediately became dark. Simultaneously, a snow-white planet appeared in the center of the dojo. The planet continued to expand. On the surface of the planet, the wind howled, mixed with the white shards of ice and sand danced madly. Faintly, within the madly dancing sand, there were two silhouettes. One was dressed in a dark blue battle robe, with boots on his feet, a battle blade and a round shield on his back, a cold and handsome youth. He was Genji. In the distance, there was a young man with a scar on his face. He wore a black battle suit and his long hair fluttered in the wind. He had two scimitars by his waist and a snow-white dragon that danced around him. He was Hanks. The life and death battle, the location was a desolate planet. Between the two of them, only one could leave this planet alive. Begin. A thick voice resounded from space, entering the ears of the two warriors on the ground. Amidst the extremely thin atmosphere of this star, a bald, robust man in golden combat clothes and combat boots was looking down from above. He was a region lord, and he was the supervisor of this life and death battle. If both sides dared to flee before the outcome of the battle was decided, then he would act and kill the one who fled. Universe-level battle, Domain Lord Supervisor. Domain Lord Battle, Sector Lord Supervisor. Sector Lord Battle, Undying Supervisor. These were the rules of the Battle Axe Coliseum. The moment one signed the contract and agreed to battle, there was no turning back. Lucio. The blue-robed youth muttered softly, following which his eyes lit up like two beams of light, looking at the distant black-clothed man. 822, Victory. The black-clothed man Hanks. His eyes seemed to be filled with an incredibly thick killing intent, like a demon that had returned from hell. Rumble! Rumble! The madly dancing storm fiercely exploded, and the Battle Axe Coliseum's cameras swiftly and clearly captured the battle scene, transmitting it to the Virtual Universe Network, projecting it onto the Dojo 08921. This allowed the spectators in the dojo to clearly see the battle scene. Chapter 373. Seal. The black-robed man, Hex, floated in midair, and the sand around him danced in the air. With a low shout, the snow-white dragon that was flying around him suddenly stopped. It turned out that it was actually many silver-white needles with complicated patterns on their surface. A large number of these needles released a silver-white light and formed that long dragon. Pung! Large amounts of needles dispersed, swiftly covering the surrounding land and skies. Every needle emitted a silver light. In an instant the land and skies became a silver world. Hank's domain. Ice Snow Domain. This can't stop me. A blue-robed figure walked step by step towards Hex. He seemed to be moving slowly, yet he was actually moving swiftly like a bolt of lightning. At the same time, The blue-robed figure actually created 3 afterimages, causing others to be unable to determine for a time which of these 3 walking afterimages was his true body. The 3 blue-robed silhouettes stared at Hanks, their gazes like needles. "It's useless." The black-clothed man Hank's eyes were cold. "Shio! Shio! Shio!" The 39 needles quickly formed into a thin silver snake, stabbing towards the 3 blue-robed phantoms. With a piu sound, 2 of the phantoms were destroyed, leaving behind the blue-robed man, Genji, who was surrounded by a green light. Genji held a shield in his hand, waving it around to form a defensive formation. The silver snake could not go around the shield at all. The blue-robed man walked over step by step, his aura growing stronger and stronger. He wielded his blade, however he didn't attack. Virtual Universe, Dojo Private Room. Luo Feng and the other 2 watched with beads of perspiration on their foreheads. Hong exclaimed softly, "Unbelievable, just relying on a shield. He can defend to such an extent. Almost like there's no way out of his body, it's completely sealed off. This is simply too exaggerated. This shield technique has already reached an unbelievable level. Very exaggerated." Thunder God too held his breath. Powerful. Luo Feng too used a shield, hence he was even more clear on how terrifying Genji was. That Hanks is very powerful too. He actually used a spirit weapon to merge with his domain, forming an incredibly powerful ice-snow domain. There was always someone stronger, there was always someone stronger. Luo Feng and the other 2 had always thought highly of themselves, however watching the 2 warriors in this life and death battle, whether it was mental state, domain level, shield technique, spirit weapon technique, they all far surpassed Luo Feng and the other 2. But from the looks of it, Genji might win. Thunder God frowned. "HM?" Luo Feng nodded. "Yes." Hong sighed softly. That Genji's aura is completely suppressing his opponent. Furthermore, Genji's shield technique is practically invulnerable, while his blade technique is constantly accumulating power. The moment he attacks, it will definitely be extremely tyrannical. On a desolate planet, the blue-robed youth Genji seemed to be moving slowly, but in a blink of an eye he had traversed a few kilometers. Hanks, who was floating in mid-air controlling his spirit weapon with all his might, had an ugly expression on his face. He gritted his teeth and roared, "3 dragons! Break! Shio! Shio! Shio!" The needles quickly combined into 3 thin silver snakes that attacked Genji from all sides. Humph! Genji let out a low snort as he stomped on the ground, leaving behind a series of afterimages. The battle blade in his hand had already turned into a dark green chain of blade shadows, enveloping Hanks, who was floating in midair. At the same time, Hanks pulled out the scimitars from his waist with both hands. With the 2 scimitars in hand, he immediately turned into 2 arcs of light. Clang! 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 The battle of the universe-level warriors. The clashing of their weapons created an incredibly strong shockwave. Immediately the ground was shaved off a layer, immediately sinking tens of meters. The surrounding tens of kilometers were reduced to ruins, the shockwave still spreading out in all directions. Layer upon layer of shockwaves formed an incredibly violent energy wave, sweeping out in all directions. "Block it! Block it! Block it!" Genji muttered. The blade in his hand was incomparably elegant as it slashed at Hanks time and time again. The blade became a dreamy green blade shadow. Looking at these blade shadows, it was like watching a small blade of grass breaking out of the ground, tenacious and strong as it grew. That sort of continuous life force made one feel helpless. Hank's forehead beaded with sweat. He bit his lips and continuously dodged, borrowing the power of his blades to block, at the same time controlling his spirit weapon to attack Genji, occasionally even using soul attack techniques. Alas, Genji wasn't affected at all. The blade shadows that were filled with life force became stronger and stronger, stronger and stronger, ******* within the private room. Genji has won, Hanks can't hold on much longer. Luo Feng said, looking at the projection in the center of the dojo. That man's eyes were filled with hope, his blade techniques filled with endless life force. 30 If Genji wins, then we'll earn. Thunder God revealed a smile. It's not the final moment yet. Hong's expression was serious. Luo Feng and the other two, Luo Feng resonated with Genji's past, Hong resonated with Hanks's life. The two were both hoping for their opponents to win. Of course, if Hanks were to die, Luo Feng would feel regret. However, in this life and death battle, one had to die, there was no other way. Luo Feng's expression changed. There's hope. Hong's eyes gleamed. That's weird. Thunder God stared wide-eyed. Wah! A special situation has occurred. Haha, it's time to turn the tables. The entire dojo was filled with shouts of shock, all sorts of discussions. One had to know that these life and death battles had accidents, but they were after all rare. These life and death battles relied on both parties' strength. Genji's strength was indeed a head above Hanks, whether it was his shield technique or his blade technique, one for defense and one for attack, it was already close to perfection. And Genji's willpower was extremely terrifying. His soul defense was extremely strong, other people's soul attacks and illusion techniques were unable to affect him. Hence, even the Battle Axe Colosseum's payout rates were very low. Obviously Genji's strength was much stronger than Hank. However now, heaven-defying. This Hanks actually comprehended the origin laws at the moment of life and death? It's indeed the origin laws, it should be the water origin laws. Even though he just comprehended it, he still stepped through a huge door. Haha, this life and death battle, to actually be able to see such a scene, it's worth it. Luo Feng and the other two heard the discussions in the spectator stands. They knew very little about the origin laws, however at this time, they could clearly see the sudden change in the battle between Genji and Hank. The shock waves caused the earth to tremble, creating an incomparably terrifying energy wave. The two silhouettes moved like lightning. Chi! 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 Hank's eyes gleamed, the ice and snow domain enveloped the surrounding land and land. The three silver snakes seemed to have come to life, just like three slithering little snakes, surrounding Genji and madly attacking. Genji used his shield to defend. He was already starting to panic. He no longer had that relaxed rhythm. Clang! Clang! Genji not only used his shield, he even used his blade to defend. No! No! Genji's forehead was beaded with sweat, the shield and blade's defense had already exceeded its limits. The black-clothed man, Hanks, who was floating in the distance, looked down at this scene. His eyes flashed, and the three silver snakes suddenly increased in attack speed, making it even harder for Genji to defend. A ray of silver light brushed past his shield, and Genji's shield smashed into the silver snake, causing it to explode. However, the front half of the silver snake, the needles became a silver light, brushing past Genji's head. Silence! All the needles stopped attacking, floating in mid-air. The silver needles quickly gathered together, along with the surrounding needles that controlled the area, finally forming a round plate, landing beside the black-clothed man Hanks. Genji, who was wearing a blue battle robe, with a bang, his knees smashed onto the ground, and his upper body slowly fell down. Hee, hurry up and run, come to daddy. Daddy. In Genji's blurry eyes, he could vaguely see a beautiful grassland. On the grassland, a cute 5- or 6-year-old girl kept laughing, chasing after a tall figure, her mouth shouting, "Daddy, daddy." That was the grassland of his dreams, the most beautiful grassland in Genji's dreams. His home, the place he wanted to protect. Lucio. The moment Genji's soul was shattered, he was calling out the name of his home. Bang! His body smashed onto the ground. Genji's forehead was bleeding. Although it did not look like he was heavily injured, in reality, his sea of consciousness had been pierced, his soul had been shattered. The wind howled. The black-clothed man Hanks flew over from afar, landing on the ground, looking at the blue-clothed man's corpse. Hanks slowly squatted down, gently caressing Genji's eyes, letting him close them, only. Hanks felt his hands touch a liquid. Hanks looked at his palms, the liquid was transparent. Tears? I'm sorry. Hanks lowered his head to look at Genji's body, saying softly, I just want to go home. Every time they fought, Hanks would never show mercy. And every time the battle ended, he would say sorry. Hanks closed his eyes. That beautiful planet in his memories, his home, he hadn't been back for thousands of years. 8:22, there's still 178 matches. I'll be able to go home. Hanks stood up. Rumble. Rushing into the sky. Leaving behind ice and sand in the air, the madly dancing snow-white ice and sand quickly covered Genji's body. A Universe Level 6 warrior, a warrior with a bright future, a warrior with limitless potential, had fallen just like that on a desolate planet. Within the private room, the Battleaxe Coliseum's cameras were incomparably advanced. Even the 2 lines of tears left behind by Genji's death were clearly captured. The ending, Genji's death, Hanks' victory. Luo Feng and Thunder God had both lost their bets, Hong had won. However, Luo Feng, Thunder God and Hong were all silent for a while. Even Hong, who had won, watched the final scene of the body covered in sand and sand. Genji's dead. Luo Feng said softly, Hanks too needs to win another 178 matches to return alive. Hong and Thunder God were silent. In the universe, to struggle and rise up was indeed very, very difficult. Any genius, if they were careless in certain areas, they could fall. And the strongest warriors of the entire human race were the 3 of them. After watching this battle, Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God all felt the pressure. Chapter 374. Leaving the dojo, they returned to reality from the virtual universe network. Within the control room of the universe ship, Luo Feng and the other 2 were feeling heavy. This damn universe! Thunder God couldn't help but curse. Luo Feng was silent. Don't curse, there's no point. Hong shook his head. Where there's light, there's darkness, there's naturally competition. Even on this small earth, killers, prostitutes, cheats, robbers, corrupt officials, schemers, what kind of people don't exist? Not to mention the vast universe. The universe is vast, hence there are many cruel and evil people, there are many more. However, at the same time, there are many people with bright hearts, chasing after their dreams. Diverse, encompassing everything. What we can do now is to do our best and protect our race on Earth. Only when we become important figures in the entire universe will we have the power to do anything. As for now, don't think too much. Hong shook his head. Luo Feng and Thunder God nodded. The ship continued to fly. After over 8 hours of flight, it finally reached the coordinates of the solar system in the dark universe. The space coordinates here were completely covered by the UNMO Planet Master's space technique. Hence, if other universe ships wanted to come to Earth, they could only go through the wormhole and fly for a long time in the universe before reaching Earth. And Luo Feng and the others could directly go through universe travel. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Universe travel. Within the dark universe. As the universe ship stopped, it was immediately pushed out of the dark universe, passing through and returning to the solar system of the actual universe. China year 2063, November 16th, late night 2208, a triangular universe ship entered Earth, arriving in the air above the Jiangnan headquarters city of Asia continent, Yangzhou City. Hong and Thunder God, long before they arrived on Earth, Luo Feng had already sent them to their respective homes. Yangzhou City, West Lake Courtyard. Daddy. Daddy. When Luo Feng, dressed in his alloy armor and boots, brought along his servant Aogu and appeared at the entrance of the castle, Luo Feng's family, who had received the news beforehand and were waiting, especially his 2 sons Luo Hai and Luo Ping, immediately shouted excitedly and rushed towards Luo Feng. Ha ha, Ping Ping, little Hai. Luo Feng looked at his family and couldn't help but smile. Oh wow, much heavier than last time. Luo Feng hugged his two sons and laughed. Daddy, your armor is so hard. Ping Ping waved her little fists, pring, 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 hitting Luo Feng's alloy armor. You didn't even change your clothes when you came back. Su Xian walked to the side and said with a smile, You're wearing this metal lump. I got used to wearing it outside and didn't have the time to change, laughed Luo Feng. The alloy battle suit had indeed been worn for too long. Actually, the alloy battle suit looked tough on the outside, but the inside was still very comfortable. Of course, it couldn't be compared to those ordinary cotton casual clothes, but after some time, one would naturally get used to it. Xiao Feng, dinner is ready, I've been waiting for you. Mother Gong Xian Lan smiled. Yup, Mom's cooking is the best. Luo Feng smiled. I'll go change my clothes and shower first, we'll eat together soon. Changing out of his alloy armor and boots, he changed into a comfortable set of casual clothes. Luo Feng ate dinner with his family. He breathed in the air of his hometown, looked at the moon in his hometown, ate and chatted with his family. After roaming the universe for so long, he really missed this feeling. Luo Feng and his team's return, the 5 great countries of Earth quickly got wind of it. On the 3rd day of Luo Feng's return, the 5 great countries sent 15 representatives to Luo Feng's house, discussing with him about the universe migration. Within the meeting room, Hong and Thunder God rushed over too, mainly to discuss with Luo Feng and his team. These 15 representatives could already completely represent the powers within the 5 great countries. Mr. Luo, fear won't solve the problem. We are all very clear, there are many dangers within the universe, however we can't just wait for the dangers to descend before we face them. The best way is to make contact with the other races and humans in the universe as soon as possible, making all sorts of preparations. A female president from the European Union said seriously. Yes, please understand, our countries have already made their preparations. America's new Caucasian president looked at Luo Feng and his team. China, India and Russia's representatives also looked at Luo Feng and his team. Whatever they could say, they had already said. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God exchanged glances. Luo Feng finally nodded. The 3 had already made their decision. I understand everyone's thoughts. Luo Feng looked at the leaders of the 5 countries around the table. I admit, your words are very logical. If you want to migrate to the universe, that's possible. Luo Feng emphasized. The leaders of the 5 great countries couldn't hide the glee in their eyes. However, I have to remind everyone. First point, when they reach the other life planets in the universe, I will give the migrants the most basic guarantee of life. However, you have to understand, only those who reach the Star Traveler level will have the qualifications to become universe citizens. Hence, the moment these migrants leave the planet I control, I will not be able to guarantee their safety. Second point, leaving Earth is very easy, however returning is very difficult. From the other life planets in the universe to Earth, just the time spent on the journey alone will take at least 3 years. Third point, regarding the information on Earth, we have to keep it strictly confidential, not a single bit of it can be leaked. Luo Feng emphasized. Actually, there wasn't much important information on Earth. The only important thing was information on the golden horned beast. However, normal people of Earth didn't know that the swallowing monster was the golden horned beast, and those migrants, Luo Feng definitely wouldn't let them take any pictures or videos of the golden horned beast. The moment the migrants left Earth and reached the planet Luo Feng controlled. Firstly, the other races of humans on the planet Luo Feng controlled were all normal people, who would know about the swallowing monster, the golden horned beast? Anyone who divulges any information on Earth will be considered a traitor to Earth, immediately executed. Luo Feng emphasized. No problem. Agreed. Agreed. Mr. Luo Feng, you don't need 3 years to return from the universe, right? The American lady secretary looked at Luo Feng and the other 2. Luo Feng creased his eyebrows, staring at her. That formless mental pressure caused the lady's forehead to be filled with cold sweat. Luo Feng shouted, "This first batch of migrants is the first contact between the humans of Earth and the universe. I don't want any accidents to happen. The moment any accidents happen, then you will be the sinner of Earth. Remember my 3 points: agree, I can agree to the migration. If you don't agree, then work hard on your own ships," Luo Feng said coldly. "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Luo Feng, I was just curious, I didn't mean anything else," the lady secretary said. "That's how it is, the migrants will officially leave Earth, half a year later. In this half a year's time, choose your people well. Remember, just the return journey alone will take 3 years," Luo Feng said. The 15 representatives from the 5 countries left. Luo Feng, Hong and Thunder God couldn't do anything about it. There are benefits to this too. We can't always carry the pressure on our shoulders, we should let them suffer a little outside. Without pressure, there's no motivation. Always under our protection, the humans of Earth's progress will slow down," Hong said. Luo Feng nodded. "Those people won't be able to do anything even if they want to. What's more, there's the rule of betraying the humans of Earth. We're all Earthlings, there's even less people who dare to leak information. Even if they do leak information, everything will be under my control. After all, that's my territory." Luo Feng currently had over 100 planets as his territory. However, as for the migration of the humans of Earth, Luo Feng was prepared to specially buy a few planets as his territory. To the current Luo Feng, buying a few planets was indeed very easy. After staying on Earth for a few days, Luo Feng boarded a universe ship and headed towards Mars. He also used the virtual universe network to order a nutrition cabin. "Sir, are you sure you want to buy this E-grade nutrition cabin?" This nutrition cabin, as the highest E-grade nutrition cabin, even for a sector lord, it can have a body recovery and evolution effect. At the same time, it's also a warrior evolution cabin. It can completely create a universe-level warrior. However, it only allows a warrior's body to evolve to the universe level. To break through further, one needs to comprehend the domain, etc. Just relying on this nutrition cabin won't do. And relying on the evolution cabin to break through, it'll easily cause one's foundation to be unstable, unable to comprehend the domain. Naturally, one will never be able to break through to the domain lord level. Also, the consumption of the nutrition cabin is shocking. Spending over 100 years of effort to create a universe level, the money spent is enough for you to buy over 100 universe-level slaves. Hence, using it as a warrior evolution cabin isn't worth it. Its only use is that when a sector lord is injured, even the genes in his body will be damaged. He can rely on the nutrition cabin to recover. This is the most practical. The most important thing is its healing effect. We have to remind you of this. If you feel that there's no problem, sign here to buy it. E-grade nutrition cabin costs 860 billion universe dollars. As for the nutrition liquid you need, 1 ton costs 10 billion universe dollars. 1 ton is enough to create a universe level. Of course, 10 billion universe dollars can buy you over 100 universe level slaves. Oh, you need 10 tons of nutrition liquid, understood. This is the contract. When sector lords battle, some directly damage the soul, some directly damage the genes. At times like this, one can only rely on the nutrition cabin to recover. Hence, the nutrition cabin is very expensive. It has one side effect: the warrior evolution cabin, and Luo Feng bought it to increase his Earth body's evolution speed. As for being unable to break through, with the golden horned beast's body as your foundation, Luo Feng, you won't have any bottlenecks. There's no such thing as an unstable foundation. And you have money, of course you'll buy the best. This E-grade nutrition cabin, its evolution speed is also the fastest. This was what Babata said to Luo Feng. Luo Feng brought the nutrition cabin and stationed himself on Mars of the solar system, beginning his first long period of training. Because Luo Feng's golden horned beast body was about to break through to the universe level, and breaking through to the universe level had many important problems, of course he chose a place where no one would disturb him. In the world of thunder, the golden horned beast was a star level 9. From a star level 9 to the universe level, it normally required over 50 years, and Luo Feng's metal combination could increase the evolution time by 89 times, hence in half a year, he had already reached the critical point. And right now, Luo Feng was already at the critical point of breaking through. 4 chapters completed. Looking at the red comments section, Tomato thanks everyone. It's been a long time since I've asked for monthly and recommended votes. Please support me. Vote for Tomato, thank you. Chapter 375. Solar System, Mars. This was an incomparably dry and barren planet. However, a pure black disc-shaped universe ship was parked in a deep pit with a diameter of a few hundred meters. This universe ship was also one of Luo Feng's backup ship. And now, this ship has become Luo Feng's temporary base of training on Mars. In the universe ship's huge meditation room, a dark green rectangular nutrition cabin was placed in the middle of the room. The entire nutrition cabin was 21.6 m long and 8.3 m wide. Its entire body was dark green. At the same time, on the metal surface of the nutrition cabin, there were many complicated patterns and decorations, along with a few simple buttons. E-grade nutrition cabin, one of the best nutrition cabins in the vast universe. Just the purchase price alone reached 860 billion universe dollars, which was equivalent to 3 or 4 cheaper and more desolate galaxies. The dark green metal on its surface was comparable to the hybrid copper essence, an F8 grade metal, cyan crystal mother, which was extremely expensive. Of course, the weapon Luo Feng used, the hybrid copper essence shard, even though it was just a small piece, its price was still shocking. That was because of its craftsmanship. Its value lay in its blade shape. To make such an incomparably hard metal like the hybrid copper essence extremely sharp was an extremely difficult task. The higher the grade of the metal, the harder it was to make it. Hybrid copper essence was a terrifying metal that even an undying being's punch could only leave a small dent. Back then, the master of the UNMO planet, in order to create the triangular blade shape of the ship's edge, he indeed paid a huge price. This made the UNMO planet ship incomparably powerful. Once it accelerated, cutting through planets and meteorites was like cutting vegetables. As it was made of the cyan crystal mother's outer shell, even an undying being would have to spend a huge amount of energy to destroy the nutrition cabin. Within the cabin, a naked young black-haired man with a perfectly proportioned body was lying in the dark gray nutrient fluid. Waves of energy filled with life force were flowing through every pore of his skin, quickly seeping into the depths of his body. The strange energy that was rich in life force, after seeping into the genetic matter of his cells, immediately began to improve and evolve the genetic matter. 1 ton of nutrition liquid could buy up to 100 universe-level slaves, could buy up to 10,000 life planet. His hair was constantly growing longer, his skin was becoming more crystalline, his bones were becoming more compact, his muscles were becoming denser, his explosive power was becoming stronger. Close. Luo Feng ordered the AI on the nutrition cabin. Chi-chi, the nutrient fluid quickly decreased and the cabin quickly became empty and dry. Waves of high-pressure heat wiped Luo Feng's body like a towel. After that, the cabin automatically added fresh water to wash Luo Feng's body, and finally dried it. Luo Feng stood up and jumped out of the nutrition cabin that was 3 meters tall. At the same time, a dark red battle robe automatically formed on his body, and a pair of battle boots appeared on his feet. His combat boots stepped on the alloy floor of the spaceship. This nutrition cabin, no wonder it's an E-grade nutrition cabin. The effects of evolution are truly shocking. Luo Feng's eyes flashed as he looked at the dark green coffin in front of him. No matter how good your evolution is, your body has to strike a balance between work and rest. You've been lying in the health pod for nearly half a month. You have to rest for at least half a month before you can enter again. Oh yeah. Luo Feng, how's your 10,000 blade soul seal coming along? A very casual voice echoed around the universe ship. This was the AI Babata. Right now I can unleash 226 soul seals at once. Luo Feng said. The 10,000 blade soul seal, of course Luo Feng wouldn't slack off. After all, only by mastering the 10,000 blade soul seal can he unleash the slave soul seal. Only then will he have some success in the soul seal path. Too slow. There's still a long way to go before I can unleash 10,000 soul seals. Don't even mention the 10,000 blades into one. Yelled Babata. I understand. Laughed Luo Feng. After continuously evolving for half a month and training his spiritual force, Luo Feng was also very tired. He immediately walked out of the cabin door of the universe ship, flew out of the deep pit, and arrived on the surface of Mars. The red, cold sand stretched as far as the eye could see. In the distance, a dust storm could be faintly seen. Luo Feng, whose entire body was covered in the cloud contact armor, looked at the land. Suddenly, in the dust storm, an incomparably gigantic shadow swiftly approached. This was a gigantic monster that was like a mountain range. Its body was covered in black scales. Only its two horns that pierced towards the sky were covered in golden engravings. Its neck and back were also covered in golden engravings. Howl, the golden-horned beast in the distance let out a roar that pierced the sky. Its cold eyes looked towards the human Luo Feng in the distance. Luo Feng also looked at the golden-horned beast in the distance. It's about time to break through to the universe level. Luo Feng frowned. The golden-horned beast's body and the human body of Earth could both appear in the outside world. One could also appear in the outside world alone, or neither could appear in the outside world. When both bodies aren't in the outside world, the core will be in the outside world. No matter what, the core will definitely be in the outside world, unable to enter the internal world. As for the body, whether it's the golden-horned beast's body or the human body, even if it's damaged, it can be repaired. Because to Luo Feng, the core of his life is actually the core that contains his soul. Of course, the core is the Achilles heel. Luo Feng doesn't dare to leave the core naked outside. That's purely looking for death. In the battle before, when the golden-horned beast appeared, the human body hid in the internal world because Luo Feng didn't want others to discover the relationship between his human body and the golden-horned beast. As for now, because the entire solar system has a defense system installed, he definitely doesn't have to worry about people discovering him and the golden-horned beast on Mars. Universe level. It's about time to break through. Luo Feng shook his head. With a wave of his hand, a pile of precious metals appeared on the ground. Luo Feng became a beam of light and flew towards the distant universe ship. The golden-horned beast's mountain-like body, however, was entrenched in the desert. It extended its claws and covered the pile of metals. The space warped and the pile of metals swiftly shrunk, before disappearing into the golden-horned beast's palm. Mars was as peaceful as ever. There were only two more lives. One was the human hiding in the universe ship, the other was the space beast underground in the desert. Time passed day by day. Even though Luo Feng was anxious, he could only wait. China time year 2063, December 26th, this day, in a certain area of the Martian desert, the golden-horned beast was entrenched within. Howl, a thick voice filled with excitement resounded through the skies. Rumble. A human silhouette swiftly flew out of the universe ship, floating in mid-air. Looking at the distant nest of the golden-horned beast, his face filled with joy. The internal world finally broke through. The golden-horned beast's internal world. A continent shrouded in a golden mist. This continent was squarish, with a length and width of 90 kilometers. However, at this time, the entire world shook violently. The large amounts of metal mist surrounding the continent madly surged towards the entire continent, causing the metal continent to madly swallow the mist, madly expanding. Its length and width continued to expand, and its height continued to expand. This continent also became thicker and thicker. The golden mist rapidly shrunk, in exchange for the continuous expansion of the golden continent. It was an expansion that left everyone dumbfounded. Within a few short hours, this continent had gone from a length and width of 90 kilometers to a length and width of 1,000 kilometers. Its surface area had expanded by more than 100 times. The core of the golden horned beast was its core. The core of the core was the internal world. Swallowing large amounts of metal was also to allow the internal world to expand and become even more perfect. Only when the internal world expanded could the golden horned beast break through. And at this time, from a length and width of 90 kilometers, it had broken through to a length and width of 1,000 kilometers in an extremely short amount of time. The internal world had already completed a fundamental change. Rumble, in the depths of the Martian desert, without the internal world's restrictions, the golden horned beast that had been suppressed to the pinnacle of the star level 9 finally underwent a fundamental change. Following an incredibly excited howl, the golden horned beast's huge body began to slowly grow, its bones became thicker, its scales became harder, and even a third horn began to grow on its forehead. Like an armor, the golden engravings that covered half of its body began to emit a mysterious light, constantly seeping into the golden horned beast's body. Within the core, within a huge tower that almost enveloped the entire space, 9 incomparably hot fireballs were following a peculiar trajectory, revolving around each other, forming a peculiar celestial structure. This was the actual structure of Luo Feng's soul. After losing the internal world's suppression, immediately, the pure energy of the universe was madly absorbed. Immediately, the 9 fireballs that had already reached their limits, following the absorption, the 9 fireballs began to tremble, their sizes rapidly expanding. Rumble, in an instant the entire universe's energy above Mars was madly absorbed, forming a terrifying energy whirlpool. With such a shocking amount of energy, the 9 miniature stars rapidly expanded. Within a short period of time, their sizes had increased by 10 times. The 9 fireballs were all trembling at the same time. In that instant, the largest miniature star had expanded to its limit. Pung! The largest miniature star fiercely exploded. Pung! 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 The other 8 miniature stars continued to explode, exceeding their limits. They all exploded at the same time, becoming countless star fragments, even forming large amounts of dust and nebula. After a while, everything returned to normal. Within the core, after the big explosion, large amounts of nebula, star clusters, dust, and many incomparably small planets formed a huge whirlpool galaxy. This huge whirlpool galaxy's core had the most small planets, numbering in the tens of millions. At the same time, the entire whirlpool galaxy had 8 spiral arms. The densest whirlpool galaxy's core, however, had an extremely small dark region. There was the entire whirlpool galaxy's first black hole. This tiny black hole was slowly swallowing the surrounding stars, dust, etc. At the same time, in places it couldn't reach, it was producing threads of pure energy. Chi-chi, like a thin mist of spirit energy, it seemed to be produced out of nowhere, appearing around the huge whirlpool, causing the entire galaxy to be enveloped in a layer of light. The strange mist energy that formed this halo was what a universe-level spirit reader relied on: spirit force. Incomparably pure spirit energy. The golden horned beast had officially stepped into the universe level. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 376. Within the desolate depths of Mars. Luo Feng's face was filled with excitement, swiftly drilling underground, breaking through to the universe level. Only then can one truly step into the ranks of the strong. as the golden horned beast with the pinnacle bloodline in the entire universe, reaching the universe level, only then can it display its heavenly talent. Shua. Luo Feng's entire body vanished, entering the internal world. And the body of the golden horned beast had already grown larger, its body length had already exceeded 1 kilometer. From its 3 horns, head, neck, back, wings, 4 claws, tail, all of these had golden engravings on its scales since birth, and were currently glowing faintly. A blurry golden domain enveloped the golden horned beast's surroundings. This is a domain? Luo Feng's soul could clearly feel this peculiar energy. This was something he had just broken through to the universe level with the help of the natural engravings. His spirit energy, genetic energy, willpower and body had naturally reached an incomparably beautiful and harmonious state. The energies had even fused together, and the fused golden energy actually had control over the surrounding space. The bloodline inheritance memories say that the golden horned beast, even if it eats and sleeps, during its long growth process, it will still naturally have its own domain, and the domain will continue to rise, 1 level, 2 level, all the way to 9 levels, and finally breaking through to the world energy, stepping into the sector lord level. Even obtaining the universe origin laws recognition of the gold origin laws, reaching the pinnacle of sector lords. The inherited memories, it's indeed true, it's indeed true. 2 heaven-defying. Luo Feng's excitement surged. Comparing oneself to others would only make one angry. Comparing oneself to the pinnacle bloodline of the space beasts, or even the pinnacle bloodline of the universe, the golden horned beast, was even more infuriating. Having a domain was very difficult. Like Hong and Thunder God, one was an internal martial arts master, the other had absorbed the essence of China's internal martial arts and ancient Indian yoga. These two had gone through the Great Nirvana period, before finally breaking through the internal martial arts and ancient yoga's highest level of Taiji perfection, man and nature as one, reaching the next level and having a domain, and the golden horned beast, as the pinnacle bloodline of the vast universe. It was destined to grow to the very end, obtaining the universe origin laws recognition, reaching the pinnacle of sector lords. What are you so happy about? What are you so excited about? Hong and Thunder God, they already had their domains at the Star Traveler level. You only have a domain after reaching the universe level, and you're still so happy? As for the laws, during the battle between Hanks and Genji in the arena, Hanks was able to comprehend a trace of the origin laws of the universe. Also, last time in the slaughterhouse, you and Thunder God were easily defeated by a white-robed woman. That white-robed lady is only at the star level 1 and has already comprehended the laws. There are many geniuses among the humans in the universe. What are you so proud of? Having great talent doesn't mean that one's achievements will be high. The golden horned beasts have been passed down from generation to generation, adding up all of history. There have been many golden horned beasts. Even though they are both golden horned beasts, the difference in achievements is huge. Some golden horned beasts purely rely on their own resources, eventually reaching the pinnacle of sector lords. After a long period of time, they die of old age. Some golden horned beasts started off purely relying on their talent, wasting their long lives. Only when you experience setbacks will you wake up, and only then will you work hard to cultivate. However, they wasted too much time before, and many of them were unable to become undying beings. Only very few golden horned beasts understood early on, talent is one aspect, hard work is also very important. Only these golden horned beasts would train a few techniques, like absolute space, 9-stage space tearing to an extremely high level, even stepping into the undying level. Even some golden horned beast undyings would create a few techniques. They would become the heroes of the entire golden horned beast race. Pinnacle of sector lords. Undying. An absolute warrior amongst the undying. Which one do you want to become? If you only want to become a pinnacle of sector lords, You can play around every day. Back then in the Pacific Ocean, when you fought to the death and obtained the golden horned beast's body, it was already decided. Becoming a pinnacle of sector lords, to you, shouldn't be difficult at all. Want to become undying? You'll have to work extremely hard. An absolute warrior amongst the undying, even stronger than your teacher. That requires hard work, viciousness, comprehension, and many other factors. Which one will you choose? Babata's series of scoldings caused Luo Feng to wake up. Babata was right. Hong and Thunder God had their own domains at the Star Traveler level. The white-robed lady who easily defeated him back then had comprehended the laws at the Star Level 1. In terms of talent, maybe humans couldn't compare to the Golden Horned Beast. However, there were simply too many humans in the universe, with an incomparably huge base number. It made it so that there would always be geniuses with extremely high comprehension. The Golden Horned Beast's talent is incomparably heaven-defying. Then I will have to compete with the universe's most heaven-defying geniuses. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Golden Horned Beast? There have been many generations of Golden Horned Beasts. If I want to succeed, I'll become the strongest. Luo Feng was filled with pride within. His huge dark golden eyes glowed. Teacher back then only possessed the Lonka youth's body. I, however, possess the Golden Horned Beast's body. Teacher relied on himself back then to create the soul imprint technique. And I have the Golden Horned Beast and the Yun-Mo planet. These two techniques have the foundation. Talent, foundation, I have it all. Perseverance, I have it too. Comprehension, I'm not bad either. I have everything. Then I'll at least first become an undying, and then become an absolute warrior amongst the undying. Even stronger than the undying that killed teacher back then. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation for the future. The Golden Horned Beast was entrenched in the ground of Mars, with the natural engravings on its scales. When the Golden Horned Beast calmed down, it could faintly feel a peculiar ripple. That was a ripple from the vast universe origin laws. However, this ripple seemed to be covered by layers and layers of gauze, making it very difficult for Luo Feng to feel it. However, even so, it made Babata extremely shocked, because under normal circumstances, only those who reached the 8th or 9th level of domain could vaguely feel this ripple. And Luo Feng, with just his first level domain, could vaguely feel it. The Golden Horned Beast, within the metal continent within the internal world, felt the gold origin laws, the ripple of the universe origin laws. It actually got a little clearer. Time flowed like water, rushing past. Month after month in the days that followed. First were the immigrants from the 5 great countries of Earth. The earliest batch of immigrants added up to about 80,000 people. Luo Feng bought a planet within the Silver Blue Empire's Milky Way galaxy. It was called Jade Rainbow Planet. Jade Rainbow Planet originally had a few 100 million humans living there, and right now the earliest batch of people from Earth were arranged to stay on Jade Rainbow Planet. After arranging this, Luo Feng immersed himself in his training. The human body was focused on the 10,000 blade soul seal. He also spent a portion of his energy on the soaring shuttle. As for the Golden Horned Beast, it was completely immersed in the domain and origin laws. In the blink of an eye, it was already the year 2065. 2 years had passed. China year 2065, October 25th, Luo Feng's training base on Mars. Within the universe ship's spacious quiet room, a dark green nutrition cabin sat there quietly. Suddenly, the cabin automatically opened, revealing the human body within, a completely naked, 3-inch short black-haired man. Luo Feng's entire body swiftly formed a layer of armor and boots, after which he flew out of the nutrition cabin. 2 years of work, I've finally stepped into the star level 7. Luo Feng smiled. This E-grade nutrition cabin is indeed not bad. How's the space techniques training going? Babata's voice resounded within the ship. No clue. Luo Feng shook his head. The space techniques are simply too difficult. I haven't improved at all. 2 years ago in the world within a world, Luo Feng started training the 10,000 Blade Soul Seal. This 10,000 Blade Soul Seal was one of the more basic soul seals in the UNMO planet's Soul Seal. However, it still took Luo Feng close to 2 years of hard work before he finally reached the large success stage of the 10,000 Blades as one. After completing the 10,000 Blade Soul Seal, training the Slave Soul Seal, it was very easy to succeed. And at this time, Babata passed Luo Feng a technique, saying these words. Luo Feng, even though your teacher hasn't completely comprehended the space origin laws, he has still gained the recognition of the space laws, and has great accomplishments in the space techniques. He can even travel through the dark universe, directly covering the universe coordinate. This, amongst the undying beings, only a few can do it. Even though you're the golden horned beast, you can only sense the gold origin laws. What's more, the space origin laws have always been extremely difficult to comprehend in the universe. Along with the time origin laws, they're the two most profound and unfathomable origin laws. Hence, right now you've made small progress in the Soul Seal, succeeded in the 10,000 Blade Soul Seal, succeeded in the Slave Soul Seal. You also have your own domain. I can barely begin to comprehend the secret space technique. Let's start with the simplest part. Every step of the secret space technique is extremely difficult from the very beginning. However, you've trained the golden horned beast's absolute space technique before, maybe it'll be easier for you to comprehend this space technique. Work hard. The origin laws are the true paths. The gold origin laws, you let the golden horned beast train. This space techniques will be your main training from now on. Babata was filled with anticipation back then. He thought that Luo Feng had the golden horned beast's talent, it should be easier. It was a pity that after training for a few months, he didn't succeed at all. He didn't even succeed at the beginning, accurately speaking, he couldn't even touch the door. Babata, these space techniques are incomparably difficult to even begin with. Luo Feng said. Don't lose heart. If a few months can't succeed, then a few years. If a few years can't succeed, then a few decades, a few centuries. Take it slowly. Babata laughed. Maybe I'm being too harsh on you. This spatial secret technique, it's usually easier for a sector lord to train in. However, the earlier you succeed, the greater your future accomplishment. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Right, Luo Feng. That Nulan Shan family's troops, according to the time, they should be arriving within the next 10 days. If we count in the errors, that universe ship of theirs could appear in the solar system any time in the next few days. Babata reminded. Chapter 377. The Nulan Shan family? Luo Feng smiled. I've been waiting for them for a long time. 2 years and 8 months ago, he had already known that the Nulan Shan family had passed through the wormhole and were heading towards Earth. After such a long time, Luo Feng had long made ample preparations. Full of confidence, the universe ship resounded with Babata's mocking voice. Right, Luo Feng, we should return to Earth now, right? No rush. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. The golden horned beast is currently training deities of the world. It can't stop for now. Let's wait a while. I'll take the chance to head to the Killing Fields battlegrounds to train. It's been a while since I've gone there. Killing Fields battlegrounds? It shouldn't be a challenge for you. Jumping levels, then it's a challenge. Luo Feng smiled, following which he sat crossed-legged and closed his eyes, his consciousness connecting to the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe Network, Black Dragon Mountain Island, one of the battlegrounds. It was a boundless desert. 2 men stood in the desert, one of them had green scales on his face, a horn on his forehead, on his back were 2 crossed blades. He stared coldly at the distant opponent. His opponent was dressed in a white battle robe, with silver long hair and silver eyes, a handsome man. 100 blades? The silver-haired man sneered. You actually dare to jump levels to battle? I'll let you know. The difference between a universe level 9 and 8. Humph. The green-scaled man snorted coldly. This made the silver-haired man's expression sink. Rumble! Rumble! The green-scaled man and silver-haired man suddenly became two beams of light at the same time, clashing together. Within a certain study room in the killing field, Nulan Shan, who was dressed in a dark green battle uniform, was currently conversing with a man in a gray robe. At the same time a screen appeared in front of them. On it was the battle between the green-scaled man and the silver-haired man. Baikalluo's strength has risen a lot from before. The gray-robed man's eyes were long and narrow, smiling as he complimented Baikalluo's talent, perseverance and comprehension. He's the most outstanding of all the disciples under me. Nulan Shan said proudly, even though I've received the Battle Axe Fighter title, back when I was at Universe Level 8, I might not have had his current battle strength. Such a high evaluation? The gray-robed man was surprised. Then, do you think he can win this battle? We can win. Nulan Shan nodded. His opponent is a Universe Level 9. The gray-robed man said. Just watch. Nulan Shan was extremely confident. On the screen, the green-scaled man Baikalluo and his opponent were engaged in a fierce battle. Azure gales revolved around him. Baikalluo was like a darling of the wind. His entire body turned into a spinning top, constantly spinning. The blades in his hands turned into bright blades of light, constantly cutting towards the silver-haired man. And the silver-haired man's figure was incomparably graceful. His body was surrounded by rays of white light. His entire being was like a sun. This silver-haired man controlled a thread-shaped spirit weapon, constantly coiling around Baikalluo. 10 strikes. The green-scaled man's face was ferocious as he growled. The saber light suddenly turned into 10 saber lights. 50 strikes. Yet another low growl. That snow-white saber light grew even brighter. Each of the saber lights seemed to form a lotus, every single saber light becoming the petals of the lotus. SSS, a thread-shaped weapon danced about, time and time again slashing towards Baikalluo. 100 strikes! Baikalluo roared in rage. Rumble, incomparably dazzling rays of snow-white saber light instantly seemed to form a huge tsunami that soared into the sky. The huge wave formed by over 100 snow-white saber lights instantly drowned the silver-haired man. The silver-haired man's eyes were filled with terror and disbelief. But then, with a bang, his entire body exploded. Baikalluo, whose face was covered in green scales, snorted coldly and disappeared from the battleground space. Beautiful! The gray-robed man revealed a look of joy, shouting excitedly. How was it I wasn't wrong, right? Nulan Shan smiled. It was very beautiful. This disciple of yours is simply too powerful. The gray-robed man's face was flushed red from excitement. His blade technique and wind domain has already perfectly merged together. And that blade speed is actually getting faster and faster, constantly rising and advancing. The further it goes, the stronger his attacks become, finally directly crushing that universe level 9. Right. Nulan Shan nodded. Baikalluo's strong point is that the more he uses it, the stronger it gets. However, his weakness is also very obvious. When he first uses it, the power of his blade technique isn't that strong yet. If the opponent were to grasp this moment, he would be able to kill him. Haha, don't be too harsh. This disciple of yours uses 2 blades, continuously attacking. And with the wind domain, his body is agile and nimble. To kill him at the start would be very hard. And the moment his blade technique is unleashed, the opponent would be finished. The gray-robed man laughed. Not bad at all. Can he pass? Nulan Shan looked at him. No problem. When we return, I'll send this footage to the Lord to watch. I believe to make Baikalluo a special elite of our 100 Tiger building, there shouldn't be a problem. The gray-robed man laughed. Nulan Shan's smile grew even wider. After a while, within the study room, only Nulan Shan was left. Pung, pung, pung. The sound of knocking on the door resounded. "Enter!" Nuland Shan shouted. The door opened, revealing the black-robed Baikaluo and the pointy-eared man Dawon walking in. "Head ancestor, teacher." Dawon and Baikaluo bowed respectfully. Nuland Shan lifted his head to look at the two. Baikaluo's black robe, that face covered in green scales, made him look extremely cold. However, the more Nuland Shan looked, the more he liked him. "Baikaluo, I've just recommended you to the 100 Tiger Building, to be nurtured as a special elite." "Thank you, teacher." Baikaluo bowed slightly. Nuland Shan looked at Dawon. "Dawon, you and Baikaluo should be reaching Earth soon, right?" "Head ancestor, we're very close to Earth now, estimated we'll reach Earth in 3 days." Dawon's eyes were filled with anticipation. This journey had taken them 2 years and 8 months. Of course he was filled with anticipation. "Very good." Nuland Shan was excited. "Baikaluo." Nuland Shan looked at Baikaluo. "Teacher." Baikaluo respected his teacher very much. "Remember, when you head to Earth, the first goal is to get the automaton ship. Hence, don't alert the people on Earth, and don't alert Luofeng. First get the automaton ship, the most important thing." Nuland Shan's expression was serious. "Once we get the automaton ship, we'll wait for an opportunity. If there's a chance, we'll get rid of that Luofeng." "Yes." Baikaluo and Dawon replied respectfully. "Go on, I'll wait for your good news." Nuland Shan smiled. Baikaluo and Dawon immediately left. When Baikaluo's battle with the others had just ended, in the same slaughterhouse space. Break! Luofeng looked at his opponent. A golden swordfish flew through a beautiful arc, causing one to be immersed in that stunning beauty. The golden swordfish had already passed through his opponent's head. Madman victory! Break! Under the domain that was filled with golden light, the golden fish was extremely excited. It jumped, and with a swing of its tail, it immediately turned into an extremely strange arc. It easily found a gap in the seemingly tight defense, and directly pierced through it, piercing the opponent's forehead. Madman victory! Break! 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 Black Dragon Mountain Island's slaughterhouse. Madman's reputation was extremely huge. Madman, he was a 9-star rated absolute warrior. Every battle he fought now was 1 level higher than him. Previously, he was still a star level 6 spirit reader, yet he was already able to sweep through the star level 6. When he stepped into the star level 7 spirit reader, he too swiftly rushed to the 9-star rating within a short period of time, constantly being invincible within the same level. Even when he fought against those higher levels, his victory rate was over 99%. Incomparably terrifying. In the Black Dragon Mountain star field, many powers had already noticed this absolute genius. Whether it was the 4 great organizations or the 2 sacred lands, they all extended an olive branch to this absolute genius. However, this genius called Madman didn't even bother with them. "It's over, I'm not playing anymore." Luofeng smiled, vanishing from the battlefield space. On Mars. Within the ship, Luofeng, who was sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes. The Black Dragon Mountain Island's killing fields really aren't that challenging. Luofeng exclaimed. "What are you so proud of? You rely on the golden horned beast to have 4 domains, and you even have some comprehension of the gold origin laws. You have to know, in the Battle Axe Coliseum, like that universe-level life and death battle, one of them comprehended a thread of the universe origin laws. We'll win immediately. You've comprehended the origin source law, and you're at the 4th level of the domain realm. Most importantly, the strength of your consciousness far surpasses your opponents of the same level, because your consciousness strength is the golden horned beast's consciousness strength. His domain, laws of origin, and consciousness are all incomparably powerful. Invincible within the same rank in the Black Dragon Mountain starfield. Is that strange? If you want to compete, then compete with the geniuses of the Ganwu Universe country, compete with the geniuses of the entire universe. Babata couldn't bear to see Luofeng happy, so he would often come to attack him. Luo Feng grinned and flew out of the universe ship, arriving on the surface of Mars. Rumble, in the distance and incomparably huge, one couldn't even see the end of it, a huge beast covered in black scales, broke through the ground. Its cold and tyrannical dark golden eyes looked at Luo Feng, following which the space beast vanished, entering Luo Feng's internal world. Deities of the world is really hard to train. Luckily, in the world within a world, I acquired a shocking amount of wealth. That's how I was able to afford those incomparably precious materials. No wonder so many golden horned beasts, in their entire lives, can only at most master the first level of deities of the world. Luo Feng exclaimed and shook his head, swiftly flying towards the universe ship. Rumble, the universe ship took off, leaving Mars and returning to Earth. Chapter 378. Earth, Asia continent, China's Yangzhou city. Luo Feng stored the universe ship and directly descended towards the West Lake courtyard. It was currently afternoon and evening. The bright red sun hung in the west, shining on the already withered grass field. On the grass field was a huge alloy arena. On the arena were two boys wielding blades, becoming two blurs as they battled. Rumble! Rumble! The air exploded, the speed was so fast it created sonic booms. Stop! Next to the arena, a seemingly honest bald man with thick lips smiled. There were strange runes on his bald head, somewhat similar to some of the strange symbols of Buddhism on Earth. The two boys stopped. The bald, thick-lipped man bowed, his eyes filled with respect from the bottom of his heart. Master. Fan, I'll have to trouble you. Luo Feng landed, his boots stepping on the arena. Daddy. Daddy. Luo Hai and Luo Ping's eyes gleamed, happily running towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at his two sons. 2 years had passed. His two sons had become much more outstanding. As he had enough resources to give his sons the most outstanding training, plus Luo Feng had the UNMO planet bloodline and the golden horned beasts inherited memories and techniques, he had allowed his two sons to receive the best training. Right now, his two sons, in terms of battle strength, were already at the advanced level war god level. This level may be exaggerated on Earth, but in the entire universe it wasn't much. A 6 or 7-year-old child with a better bloodline, even if they weren't carefully trained, would have already stepped into the Star Traveler level at this age. These two punks, how have they been lately? Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the bald, thick-lipped Fan. The two young masters have been working hard, their blade work foundations are very solid. Fan complimented. Daddy, you heard that? We've been working very hard. The two children said proudly. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. You two go play first, I have something to discuss with your Uncle Fan. The two children nodded heavily. They looked at each other, a hint of excitement in their eyes. Then, they dashed towards the castle. To them, being able to enter the virtual universe to play the virtual game was an extremely happy thing. There were many other children around their age. Fan, how's your training recently? Luo Feng smiled and asked. The secret technique that Master imparted to me, Soul Saber Slash, is indeed unfathomable. I've made some progress recently, but there are still many areas that I'm confused about, Fan said respectfully. Speak. Luo Feng said. Master, please guide me. Fan said respectfully. The first level of the Soul Saber Chop is about the fusion of mental energy into a saber, Fan asked. Luo Feng replied. More accurately speaking, it was Babata who was answering. This was because the secret technique Soul Blade Slash was one of the most powerful secret techniques in the UNMO planet. It was obtained by the UNMO planet master from some historical remains, so there were no special requirements for cultivating it. As for the Soul Seal, it could only be used after the soul had been converted. Babata had recorded the cultivation experience of the Soul Blade Chop. Hence when Fan met with difficulties, Babata would answer and Luo Feng would recite. This Fan. Luo Feng finished, seeing Fan deep in thought. He couldn't help but exclaim within, "To be able to buy this slave, I'm really lucky." Yes. Fan was a slave bought by Luo Feng, and it was a Universe Level 9 slave. In the vast universe, relying on the biochip to control, one could at most control a Universe Level 9 slave, because the moment one broke through to the Domain Lord level, the Domain Lord could completely shatter his own brain and destroy the biochip without dying. Hence, the highest level slaves sold outside were only Universe Level 9, of which the price of a Universe Level 1 slave was usually between 10 million to 30 million Universe dollars. That was equivalent to 10 life planets. And a Universe Level 4 slave was priced between 100 million to 300 million Universe dollars. A Universe Level 7 slave was priced between 1 billion to 3 billion Universe dollars. A Universe Level 8 slave was priced between 3 billion to 10 billion Universe dollars. A Universe Level 9 slave was also priced between 3 billion to 10 billion Universe dollars. This Universe Level 8 and 9, why were their prices about the same? That was because buying a Universe Level 9 slave had its risks. Even though it was extremely difficult to break through to the Domain Lord Level 9, and the chances were very small. However, there was still a possibility. Who knows, maybe one day, a Universe Level 9 slave would break through. Breaking through to the Domain Lord level, no longer being controlled by the biochip, regaining its freedom. It was very possible that in a fit of rage, it would kill the master that had been controlling it. In the universe, after a Universe Level 9 slave broke through, in a fit of rage, it had happened many times. This caused the price of a Universe Level 9 slave to be similar to a Universe Level 8 slave. Fan, a Universe Level 9 slave, to be able to train to a Universe Level 9, one could see how powerful his talent was. Back when Luo Feng bought Fan through the slave trader even advised him, "Sir, this Universe Level 9 slave is extremely dangerous. The moment he breaks through, no one will be able to control him. Why don't you just buy a Universe Level 8 slave? Even though it's only one level lower, it's extremely safe. Wait for the Universe Level 8 slave to break through to Level 9, then you can sell the slave, it won't be a loss at all." "I'll buy him." Luo Feng didn't hesitate back then. After buying Fan, Luo Feng transformed into the golden horned beast's body. Through the golden horned beast, he used the slave imprint he had just trained, ordering Fan not to resist. As a slave, Fan naturally wouldn't resist. Just like that, Luo Feng planted the slave imprint deep within Fan's soul, merging it with his soul. From that moment on, Fan became Luo Feng's most loyal slave. It was loyalty from the very core of his soul. Using the slave imprint to control people, it has an effect on your soul too. Your teacher only controls the 9 undying slaves, hence, you have to focus on quality, don't chase after quantity. Babata reminded Luo Feng. Understood. Luo Feng trained in the soul imprint technique. He had carefully read up on the slave imprint's side effects and other things to take note of. Of course, he was clear, choosing a slave, one had to be extremely careful. Because this was a slave controlled through the soul, the two souls had a connection. The master could completely control the slave, but the slave could also affect the master. Fan was a slave from a long time ago. As a slave, his training conditions were extremely poor, yet he was able to train to this stage. I've checked his background. This person is worthy of becoming one of my soul slaves. Fan, Luo Feng's first true slave. The Newland Shan family's universe ship could reach Earth at any time, hence Luo Feng didn't enter the nutrition cabin these few days, quietly waiting on Earth. China time year 2065, October 28, the edge of the solar system. A streamlined axe-shaped D3 grade universe ship, like a shooting star, was flying towards the solar system. Within the ship's control room, Baikalo, who was dressed in a black robe, and Dawan, who was dressed in a blue robe, were standing side by side in front of the control panel. The entire spaceship was simulating the scenery. allowing the two of them to clearly see the beautiful solar system in the distance. That dazzling star was surrounded by planets that revolved eternally around it. Among them, there was a small and inconspicuous blue planet that attracted their attention. Earth. Baikaluo's voice was ice-cold. Yes, Earth, we've arrived. Dewen's face revealed a smile, turning to look at Baikaluo. Baikaluo, do you still remember teacher's words? Let's not alert the people of Earth. We'll first quietly retrieve the automaton ship. I know. Baikaluo said coldly. Dewen was unhappy within, however on the surface he still smiled and nodded. At this time, at the edge of the solar system, among the scattered asteroids there were a few satellites disguised as asteroids. Actually, in the entire solar system, there were many of these disguised probes. One could say the entire solar system was incomparably tight. Unless it was the automaton ship's level of technology, otherwise to not be detected by these probes, it was impossible. A small asteroid with no rules and regulations. The signal swiftly transmitted the images to Earth's entire planet's defense system command center. Luo Feng's family's castle. Many signals were sent. This D3 grade universe ship was completely scanned clearly. Earth, China time, 7 p.m. The sky had long darkened. The entire Yangzhou city was bustling with activity, the lights were resplendent, and as the holy land for countless warriors in Yangzhou city. Luo Feng's residence, West Lake Courtyard, was filled with laughter. Luo Feng's family was gathered around the table, eating dinner. Luo Honggua, Gong Xian Lan and her wife, his brother Luo Hua and his wife and their children, Luo Feng himself, his wife and 2 sons. Of course, Luo Feng's first slave Difan was also present. Uncle Difan, I really did train my blade technique for an hour in the afternoon, right? Little Hai shouted. Yes. Difan smiled and nodded. Mom, you heard that right. Little Hai frowned, looking at his mother Su Xian beside him. Luo Feng looked at his son's adorable look. He couldn't help but smile. Suddenly the arm guard on his arm emitted a sound. Luo Feng's expression changed. This was a warning he had set long ago. The moment the planet's defense system had a few major problems, it would immediately alert him. Luo Feng looked down. The screen on his arm guard had a live feed. A streamlined axe-shaped universe ship was flying at extreme speed at the edge of the solar system, heading towards Earth. It's here. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Dad, Mom, you guys eat first. I still have things to do. Luo Feng smiled as he stood up. You have the most things to do. Luo Honggua said. Luo Feng smiled, simultaneously patting his 2 sons' heads, holding his wife's hand, saying softly, Su Xian, I'll be heading out for a while. I'll probably be back tomorrow morning. Be careful. Su Xian said. His family was clear. Luo Feng sometimes had important things to do. Sometimes he would go into closed-door training for half a month, hence it was rare for Luo Feng to eat with his family. As for Luo Feng suddenly going out, they were already used to it. It was just that, before they even finished eating, his dad Luo Honggua had to say a few words. Difan. Luo Feng signaled to Difan with his eyes. Difan stood up too. The two swiftly left the castle. So, the two rushed into the sky, flying straight into the air above Yangzhou city. In the sky suddenly a black disc-shaped universe ship appeared. Luo Feng and Difan entered the ship, immediately changing into alloy armor and boots, etc. Rumble. The universe ship accelerated, rushing straight into the atmosphere, swiftly leaving Earth and heading into space. Battle. If it were to happen, it had to happen in space. A universe-level battle to a planet that was catastrophic.